Alright, what is going on YouTube? Villese versus LaaaaN decider series in Hidden Cup for qualifiers. The winner gets into the main event, the loser gets out of the tournament. So we will have Villese playing in Persians, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, Indians, Britons, Aztecs, and Huns available. Mayans was the global ban for him, and he lost Lithuanians to Snipe. Other side LaaaaN will have Mongols, Italians, Malians, Tatars, Berbers, Slavs, Byzantines, and Goths available after losing Vikings to Snipe and banning Khmer globally. The home maps will be Goldrush Bay and Hideout for Villese, and Islands, Cross, and Slopes for LaaaaN. So both players actually had a 3-2 win in the previous round. LaaaaN was leading 2-0 against Brew, but almost fell to a reverse sweep. Ended up winning 3-2. Villese had one of the most competitive series against Classic Pro, an absolutely amazing set. If you have missed out on it, I definitely recommend watching that. So, with that, I would think that Villese is still the better player of the two, especially the consistency is the problematic part for LaaaaN. And I would think that my guess for this one is 4-1 for Villese, although if he's not cautious, he could be surprised by LaaaaN here. The loser of this set actually gets $200 prize pool, but obviously the big goal for the players is to get into the main event, which would yield them a minimum of $1,500 and potentially a chance for a lot more in case they can march deeper into the event. And I feel like if Villese is the one winning this, then Villese should have a very, very good shot at marching deeper into the main event, because recently Villese has been playing extremely well, and he's a consistent player now, and he has had some very good tournament performances in recent memory. I'll actually double check just so that I don't mess it up, but Red Bull Volvo 3, he was a semi-finalist, lost to Leary. King of the Desert 3, he's a semi-finalist, loses to MBL. So really, he has had some good performances in recent memory, and we'll see what he can do in Hidden Cup 4. In Hidden Cup 3, he actually lost in the first round to Mr. Yo, whereas in Hidden Cup 2, he also lost in the first round to Dogao that time. So it seems like in Hidden Cups, he has always been routed in the first round, but this might be the strongest Hidden Cup for him up to this date. With that, there is still no Rex from Robo, but he said he's going to publish them in a moment, so we're actually going to have that happening in a matter of seconds. So, Villese versus LaaaaN. A matchup where I think that if you just look at the pure skills, the two players are relatively even, but if you actually look at the current form of the players, I would think that Villese has a massive advantage over his opponent. Here is the first game's recorded game file, so I'll have to download that. These are actually casted live, but from recorded games, so it's synchronized between all casters. And we can jump into game number 1 over here really fast. So Villese versus LaaaaN, we're going into Arabia. Connect the game, and we also have to enable the scoreboard, so it's going to be a best of 7, and here it is. So welcome, this is going to be the first game in a best of 7 in between Villese and LaaaaN. Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. Villese will be playing standard Chinese in blue on the left, and right side is going to be LaaaaN playing as Malians in red. I don't know why LaaaaN is actually asking for servers. After 20 seconds, maybe he's experiencing lags. I'm not 100% sure. They should have no trouble with the servers. This should be West Europe or... it should be West Europe server, because both of these players are Europeans. LaaaaN is Spanish and Villese is Finnish. So we'll see if he's able to finish off his opponent in this set, as we're going to have... the berries being very nice over here for Villese. He's going to have an okay gold, relatively vulnerable base, even though this is not completely ideal. So this is an okay-ish base layout for Villese, nothing special. LaaaaN's base is not so great. This gold mine isn't really nice. Well, the gold mine itself would be alright. The problem that he's facing is that this left side is very open. The right side is actually pretty well vulnerable, so LaaaaN might need to go for these walls over here, which would actually take quite a lot of time. Depends on what his opponent is going for. If Villese is going for scouts, you probably just make walls over here. If Villese is going archers, then you're going to have a wall off over here, I believe. Both of these civilizations are fairly versatile, something I really like about them over here. So both of these have the capability of playing with archers or scouts. Their late game tech trees are very, very broad. So at the end of the day, they are definitely one of the more versatile civilizations that are available in the game. So we will have the first board coming in here for Villese. I'm just looking at him weakening the board with the town center as well, because now that we're preparing for the main event of Hidden Cup, we'll soon have to think about, you know, starting to prepare for the playstyles of the individual players. And oftentimes weakening a board with a scout or with a town center is something that could be a clue for players, even though now more and more players are doing this. 2 years ago, it was only Vietnamese and Chinese players doing this board weaken trick. Nowadays, we see GIA members using that a lot. So Viper does that. I don't know about Taro. It seems like Villese is also doing that now. So most of the players have now transitioned towards this board weakening strategy. That's actually an interesting mail spot from LaaaaN. And we are gonna have... like, that's not necessarily an ideal spot. However, you have to keep in mind that 4 of these berries will be very efficient with this mill over here, and you could wall over here. So if you have 3 villagers in here, you wall in here and you prevent a drush from happening here. So that's something that is going to be still pretty good for you. I like that mill spot. Not necessarily something that all players like, but this is actually a very nice mill spot, especially if you get drushed, to be honest. So... early walls coming in here for Villese, who's playing for free on wood. His opponent is also playing free on wood, but with Malians, that's less of a clue. Free on wood from the Chinese player, however, means that we're going to see scouts coming in here for him very rapidly. So, here's the deal. One thing that's going to be interesting to look for is sort of consistency, so to say, from LaaaaN, because he can sometimes be very, very inconsistent even within a series, and he looks at those villagers and sees that there is loom, so he couldn't actually pick off that villager at all. That's going to be a drush coming in here from LaaaaN, as Villese is getting fired upon by the TC of his opponent, but he will miss all the shots. And what is important is that Villese doesn't see that barracks, which means that the militias could be coming out in reasonable quantities very, very soon. Villese will be fully walled though, so the drush shouldn't really accomplish much. And the thing is that it's not even going to be a drush. This is going to be a 21 pop man-at-arms build, I believe. Why could you pull off a 21 pop man-at-arms build? It's because your buildings are cheaper, so you don't need as many villagers on wood as in the case of other civilizations. That's the idea behind this one. So you save a bit on the lumber camp, you save a bit on the mining camp, the barracks, the houses, and that adds up as potentially sort of one villager advantage. So 21 pop man-at-arms, not unconventional for Malians, even though that's not something that you see very, very frequently. Other side will be scouts, as I said. But if you play man-at-arms against scouts, you kind of have to go for walls, otherwise the scouts will just outrun you. Villese knows exactly it's man-at-arms. He sees the flags on the barracks, he sees the mining camp, which is a clear clue that this is a man-at-arms play for his opponent. And what is Villese up to? He hasn't started making his barracks, something that he's gonna have to start dropping soon. And one thing that I would like to point out is that Villese doesn't actually have a safe gold mine. This is actually a pretty bad walling from him here. I understand the concept of the walling, and maybe he was afraid of a drush because he started walling quite early. But at the end of the day, this wall is actually going to be very, very painful. As, look at this, Daisy's resubbing for 2 months, as she's sending energy to Villese and Team Suomi. Thank you so much for a resub, Daisy. Welcome back. So, we will have the barracks coming in here right now. Man-at-arms won't be doing much here, but this is a map where you could even see LaaaaN potentially pulling villagers and going for a tower, because landing a tower here would deny a lot of farming space, and it would also deny gold mines. So there is like a legitimate possibility in actually trying to tower the opponent's eco over there. That seems like that's not actually the case. We'll have archers coming out instead. Stable on the way for Villese, and that's actually a good move from LaaaaN. He actually starts bashing down the stable, and that will eventually force Villese to repair this one, which is definitely something that is worth pointing out. LaaaaN, however, not paying attention, loses a lot of HP on that scout. That was definitely far from ideal. So, with that, we are gonna have the stable slowly going down here, so eventually there will be a need for repairs. Let's see if we see a spearman coming from LaaaaN. Not really the case. Not really the case. So no spearman, it's something I don't like from LaaaaN. Even if it's not for offensive purposes, you want a defensive spearman because otherwise scouts could actually hit you quite hard. Here come the woes from LaaaaN. He will be fully walled on the right. Left side is a bigger question and the scouts could counterattack pretty easily. It seems like there is no repair villager just now for Villese just coming in. It's going to cost him quite a lot of wood repairing that stable over time. And I like the move of LaaaaN pushing up with a skirmisher, or not skirmisher, a spearman and 2 archers. You always want to secure your early archers with a spearman against the opponent's scouts, and this is looking pretty decent for LaaaaN so far. As I said, consistency is a big issue for him, but he was a player that made it very, very competitive against Hero in Hidden Cup 3, so on his better days, he's a top 10 player. The problem is that on his worst days, he's outside of top 20, so we'll see what kind of LaaaaN we're seeing over here today. So, stable still standing over here, but that's an archer range coming in now for Villese. That's a bad move from Lando. He gets his archers intercepted. He wasn't paying attention. He's gonna lose the spearman before he wanted to. And that means those archers are going down. That's actually crucial. Because if those archers didn't go down, they would have denied the repairs on that stable, and that stable would have been legitimately going down. Here's the deal though, Villese doesn't actually have safe gold income, which means that he can only make skirmishers or 1 archer if he wants to. So, archers are being piled up over here for LaaaaN as he goes for fletching. And he is fully walled, but his opponent will start pushing up with scouts and skirms, and that could be a little bit tough for LaaaaN to handle. He will probably switch to knights eventually, because against the scout and skirm play, you will end up switching against knights. Here comes another counterattack, and the fact that the man-at-arms are still alive are helpful against the skirmishers, and Villese's gold mine is in an awful spot, but honestly, it's more about Villese not walling the way he should have had. Like, it takes quite a lot of effort to vault like this and this, obviously, but I feel like walling your gold out like that could actually be very problematic. Alternative is that you drop a defensive tower, but that might be needed eventually, as LaaaaN could just go back and hit that gold mine, but instead he's looking for a different trophy, probably trying to bash his way through these walls and hit the food eco of the opponent. Because Villese actually went for scouts at the beginning, his food eco was actually pretty nice, and that means that we are gonna have men-at-arms getting through the walls, but as I said, food eco being nice means that Villese is not impossibly far away from Castle Age, tries to re-wall this one. Archers will try denying these villagers as the scouts are coming back. Let's see if there is any skirmishers in here. Nope. Villese just goes for a lot of scouts. Here men-at-arms are through, and that house is actually going down. But this is scary for Villese over here as he's trying to once again save his villagers with a couple of walls. But worst case scenario for him I think right now is that he's gonna trade armies with LaaaaN over here. Looking at the resources are still pretty close for both players as skirmishers are trying to focus down the spearmen so that the archers can engage. And if the skirmishers are picking off the spearmen, then the scouts will be able to take a good engagement. That didn't really happen though. And the men-at-arms are actually taking a reasonable fight here. Wasn't perfect for LaaaaN here, but I feel like in terms of resources and army value lost, I feel like that's actually a comparable fight for the 2 players here. Now, with that, there is going to be a stable being added here by LaaaaN. He's got 14 on food, his opponent's got 18, and all 18 of those are farmers. In fact, it's 19 farms now, whereas LaaaaN is playing with 17. The problem that LaaaaN is facing, I believe, is that he doesn't have horse color. So the farm transition, like the mass farm transition from Villese is much natural, or much more natural with Chinese that do have, first of all, more food on the farms, but also because you played scouts, you also went for horse color early. So the farming eco is going to be a lot more efficient here for Villese, who will continue with archers, however, whereas his opponent is actually going to play probably double stables. Well, there is enough archers for a crossbowman play here from LaaaaN, idling his TC a little bit, in fact, quite a bit, to click up into Castle Age here. At the end of the day, he still had less TC idle time than Villese did, but obviously part of that comes from the Chinese start. LaaaaN might actually try to unpop his archers on the other side to try and hold this wall, but I think ideally he wants to wait until he's able to get to Castle Age and get to Crossbowman. He only has one stable and he's not taking into Knights, so we'll see what he's up to. He's getting a couple of scouts out. I feel like the problem is that he's not going to have a clean switch into full Knights or full Crossbowmen. He will have a mixture, but we'll see if that mixture army is better than just brute force archers from Villese. These walls will hold, so it's not really a big deal right now. And there is scale barring coming in, so we will actually see a couple of Knights potentially from LaaaaN. It's not going to be a full Knights play, but he's going to play with at least a couple of them, support the crossbows. Using those, and he might even unpop the 2 scouts trying to take down those skirmishers. Indeed, he jumps on top of them, tries to focus down the archer first because that's the most that's the unit that deals the most damage here, but it's a bad decision to move out with the archers right now because the skirmishers could just try to pick them off. Nice moves now from LaaaaN trying to finish off the skirmishers, and he's gonna be 1 minute ahead into Castle Age compared to his opponent. And that means that those crossbows will actually be able to start pushing that gold mine. Remember that Villese actually had trouble with that gold mine, which could be very, very troublesome overall as Castle Age kicks in. Bloodline's just now on the way for LaaaaN, but that's a little too late because he's not going to be able to make Knights immediately. Still, that crossbow power spike could be big for LaaaaN as he's going for Boso first. Why Boso? What is LaaaaN doing, man? This will be the moment to shatter every resistance. With the crossbowman, he goes for Boso first. Oh, the big face palm. Oh, and this is what I'm saying, that sometimes LaaaaN plays like a, I don't know, top 100 player, sometimes he plays like a top 10 player. This was definitely one of the weaker moves from him. He could have actually had a couple of crossbows on the field here, pressuring the opponent's base. Obviously there was skirms against that, but still, I mean, this shouldn't be the way that it works out for LaaaaN. Anyways, we're gonna have second TC coming in here pretty soon as crossbows are on the way. So, second TC on the way as well for Villese, and it seems like we're actually in for a longer game, but so far Villese's moves are convincing me a little more. Like, this gold mine was actually pretty awful for him, but he actually managed to survive, and to be honest, at the end of the day, LaaaaN wasn't able to exploit this big weakness of Villase's base, that gold mine being on the front, and that's not being exploited is just a huge thing. So, LaaaaN is gonna be on 2 TCs, making it free now, but once again, these archers will get cleaned up, and the problem that I'm facing here for LaaaaN is that I just don't know what type of unit he wants to go for. He's going for 1 stable Knights and stop making archers. Last time I checked, 1 stable Knights will just be overrun by double stable Knights. So, I'm really unsure why LaaaaN is sort of underinvesting into army here, because that definitely feels like it's the case. He just wants to go for a free TC boom, but reality is that his opponent is going to be on free TC soon as well if you look at those resources. And the production is going to be much, much better from Villese, and that might be even a forward siege workshop once he sees that he's got the upper hand. So, once Villese sees that, hey, I am up against a player that plays very, very defensive with little army, I might as well pull my villagers, make a siege workshop here, make a couple of battering rams, and start knocking down these buildings. It seems like we'll have a couple of camels mixed in for LaaaaN, but that's something that Villese can do as well himself, so I'm not sure if that's going to help out LaaaaN here by any means. If Villese wasn't able to mix in camels, this would actually be a reasonable idea, but that's not really the case right now. So, we will have still 2 TCs working for Villese, free for LaaaaN. LaaaaN only has a 2 villagers lead though now, with a heavy plow also in for Villese. The Knights from Villese will have a +1/+1. Knights from LaaaaN has +2 defense but no attack upgrades, so the 2 units are pretty much equivalent of each other. But the numbers are much, much better for Villese. 11 Knights against 5. LaaaaN is playing overly passive here. And I don't know why now there's a second stable up, but that already might be a little too late, to be honest. Because there's a monastery on the way for Villese, and Villese will just, like, be on 3 TC just like his opponent. He will intercept these knights in here, and suddenly Villese is going to have a lot more army on the field, as many of those knights are already very, very weak. And at the end of the day, this might be something like 13 versus 4 or 5 knights. LaaaaN is trying to get back knight numbers to their original value, but with that, knights are pretty much dying over here. And it's only going to be 2 HP left on that knight. And if you just look at the numbers, 15 against 5. I think that Villese has added a stable number 3 as well. Nope, he didn't. So it's only 2 stables still for him, but fairly consistent knight production. And where is the forward Voyager at? There is, I think, this Voyager is going to turn into a forward Voyager soon. Or Villese could just go and try to destroy those stables, and LaaaaN knows that. I feel like LaaaaN is playing so greedy over here. He just doesn't want to make army, or I don't know. 16 knights versus 6 still. That second stable was so late, and he kind of felt like he doesn't know what to do with the army that he has had. He had a bunch of archers, never upgraded them to crossbows, just lost them very, very easily. But never went for a double stable switch either, so to me it kind of felt like he actually wants to play with crossbows and support with knights, but that wasn't really the case either. A stable goes down very, very easily, and with this hill, Villese is actually able to help out with the crossbows as well. Crossbows just denied this gold mine, and LaaaaN only has 7 on gold, which, needless to say, is far from ideal. 30 on foot for LaaaaN, 30 as well for Villese. As Villese might actually go and disengage, he still wants to destroy the stable though, so does he want to destroy the barracks. And the crossbows could also try camping this hill and just denying that gold mine. And I think that there is going to be camos soon, a siege workshop coming in here for Villese, but no, he doesn't want to go for siege workshop. He just wants to apply pressure on his opponent and just boom behind this one. 3 Voyagers lead right now for LaaaaN, but the army numbers are convincing a lot more here. 41 compared to 13 army, and LaaaaN has lost multiple production buildings, which hurts as well for him. He's waiting to unleash his army over here now with a +2/+2, whereas Villese only has +1/+1, which is a little sloppy over here. But he's got a couple of monks somewhere, although he's picking up relics with those and not actually using them to fight. But more importantly, Villese has camos, and those camos will actually compensate for those knights, having the upgrades there as well. +2 defense on the way right now for Villese. He's trying to hold this hill. Holding the hill with camos will buy him time to get the upgrades in for his knights. And Villese's unit control is absolutely outstanding here. He holds the hill, which means that LaaaaN cannot really engage convincingly. And the camos and knights are meanwhile destroying the stable or the range over here. And this might not seem like it's much of a damage done, but it actually delays a potential tech switch if there is going to be any. It looks like LaaaaN is going to decide that he wants to counterattack this entire thing here. Run straight towards the base of Villese. Villese is still only on 2 stables, as he will soon see that the knights are coming his way. And that means that he's going to send all his camos back. He's got 11 camos against what is 20 knights. Should be fairly decent for him. University on the way as he's planning to go into Imperial. And he also keeps the crossbows inside the opponent's base. That's the right thing to do. You keep the knights and crossbows here, and you send the camos back to defend against the counterattack. Nice quick wall there from Villese, and I feel like Villese is having a massive lead here. It's not about the resources or Voyager count, it is about just the position in this game. Villese is getting close to dropping a castle, and honestly, with this military lead that Villese is having, that castle might even come up here. Although I think he's gonna go for a much more passive gameplay here, so he would just go play safe. Now the camos are somewhat mispositioned here, so this could be a bad fight for Villese. He is probably going to lose a lot of his crossbows, and the knights are slowly overrunning him. But Villese is actually close to clicking into Imperial here, whereas his opponent isn't, and there is still a lot of camos here. So, yeah, the crossbows got cleaned up, but these camos have +1, +2, and is that going to be enough for Villese? It seems like it isn't. He's getting overrun by knights. So, the maneuvers that LaaaaN has made actually caught Villese off guard, and Villese actually took a very, very bad engagement over there. I feel like the problem for Villese was that he was a little too low on production, so he might have not understood that his opponent is going for a Castle Age all-in, basically. This is 5 stable knights and camos. Now, obviously, if Villese gets into Imperial here, this is gonna be heavy camo, although heavy camo takes quite a lot of time, but even then, probably Blast Furnace is gonna come in faster. I think Blast Furnace in Imperial for Villese and just increasing camo numbers should be enough to deal with this Knight's aggression. That's a lot of camos though. This is an absolute Castle Age all in here from LaaaaN, and it might actually punish Villese because Villese is still very, very far away from Imperial. Villese needs to play very defensive here, gets a couple of conversions. Many of those Knights are weak though, something that LaaaaN has to pay attention for. He's mixing in his own camos. It is 21 camos against 16 camos and 25 Knights. I think Villese just needs to sit back, wait, get more camos out, heal them up, and indeed mixing a couple of Chukonus as well could be a good idea as well. Knights will actually loop around and go for a counterattack, maybe hit this stone mine, as LaaaaN still has the Voyager lead, but his opponent is on the way to Imperial, whereas LaaaaN isn't, and as I said, those Knights will just loop around, and I think Villese knows about that stone mine. Yeah, he does. He wants to go for that stone mine, because he might be expecting a castle being dropped, as LaaaaN is now teching into what's gonna be Malian Pikemen, and I'm going to scream. If that's Malian Pikemen, I'm just going to scream. That's one of the worst pikemen in the game. It seems like these Knights will actually miss the target. They went for gold, but there is no one home over there. They could get a couple of Voyager picks on the stone, but this actually makes LaaaaN divert all his forces towards this position, and now Villese sees the Voyagers on stone, picks off a couple of them before the Knights would clean them up. But this actually matters because this buys time for Villese. It buys time because Heavy Camel is an upgrade that takes quite a lot of time to research. And now that LaaaaN's army is over here, that means that Villese is sort of able to go for the Heavy Camel tech himself. There is going to be pikemen teched into, sure, but against Imperial Age Cavalry that's not going to work out, neither will it work out against Chukonu. As LaaaaN is going to be forced to make a defensive castle, and Villese might engage after +4 defense kicks in here, although he probably wants to wait until Heavy Camel comes in. So yeah, Blast Furnace on the way, but you are probably going to fight this one when Heavy Camel is in. Villese has 8 Voyagers on stone, and there is the castle on the front on that hill. I feel like if Villese gets this up, that's actually huge. There is another castle here which denies a forward stable from LaaaaN here, as LaaaaN is also on the way to Imperial, but he's gonna be so much behind. I don't know if he can survive long enough. So, like, you see that there's already Heavy Camos in here. There's gonna be soon Siege Weapons, Chukonus coming in. Heavy Camos raiding the right side as well. And it looks like LaaaaN wants to tech into Champ Scars, tech into Longsword Supplies Arson. The problem is that Champ Scars will still die to Chukonu. So Chukonu is basically one of the very, very few archers that can actually deal with Champ Scars. And we have a couple of raids coming in here from Villese. But as I said, it's the position that you have in the game that Villese is just so good. And Rocketry for Chukonu. He knows exactly that a Champ Scar switch may be imminent. But now it's going to be an awful lot of Chukonu. And really, behind this one, Voyager count is now in the favor of Villese. Population are still surprisingly close. And you have to keep in mind that LaaaaN has a castle here. LaaaaN could go for Farimba Camels and Farimba Cavalier that could actually help out quite a bit over here. So, to my taste, Villese is actually a little bit slow pushing here. But I think he's just playing this one cautiously. So, something I can completely understand. Treb will be set up in this one, as you're gonna have to start taking down the castle here. So, what is a Champ Scar? Oh, that's a nickname for the champions of Malians, because Malian champions receive extra pierce armor, or like Malian swordsmen and overall generally infantry receive extra pierce armor upon reaching the next age. And Champ Scar is a mosaic word that's made out of champion and Huskar, because Huskar, the Gothic unique unit, is one of the highest pierce armor infantry, and it's kind of a mosaic word. And it's nicknamed Champ Scar because it's kind of a champion, but it's also like a Huskar with the pierce armor and the arrow fire resistance. That's why it's called Champ Scar. Yeah, I always forget that. Some people might not know it, but yeah, it's a pretty common nickname. It's the same thing as a Gembo. A Gembo is a Genoese crossbow. So there are a couple of these nicknames that casters are using for units. So, as things stand, Villese has all the map control in the world. He's sitting on 4 relics. He's trapping down this castle over here. And he's also stonewalling himself. And the reason why you stonewall here is because one of the ways that Malians can actually come back into games is raid with Farimba Light Cav. So you have to be prepared for your opponent potentially trying to raid you with light cav with Farimba, and the best way to defend against that is stone walls, so I really approve that gameplay from Villese, who's also getting light cav on the right side. Final relic is in the hands of LaaaaN, but there will be a couple of light cavs running into the eco of LaaaaN, who is just pretty much cornered within here, losing stone really fast. So yeah, that castle isn't going to stay up for long. 3 trebs shelling it, and the stone is now out for LaaaaN. That castle is probably be gone in the next couple of moments, but he actually gets some Cavalier in here, but no upgrades from Imperial Age, just +2/+2. Yeah, those are Cavalier, but obviously you don't have Blast Furnace because you're Malians, so you kind of have to go for Farimba and +4 defense. But I feel like once again Chukanu will just eat everything over here, and heavy camos will be nice as well. Voyager is dying left and right from LaaaaN, by the way, on the right side. So these light cavs really killed a couple of Voyagers here. LaaaaN is down to 105, and the castle went down as well. Villese is playing this one safe, and he has no reason to be super aggressive here. He's sitting on like a 70% map control and 4 relics, as opposed to his opponent, who is pretty much cornered within his own base. This is looking pretty convincing for Villese right now, and he will soon start setting up the traps and shelling these production buildings, potentially a town center over here, as LaaaaN is still trying to hold this corner. LaaaaN will soon have to take this gold mine because he's running out of gold at the back of his base, I think. He still has some gold over here, as Villese might be already planning another counter raid on the right side. So there is plate mail in, and this is why they're often referred to as Champs cards. They have 8 pierce armor, so a single Arbalest would do 2 damage per arrow. Chukanus, however, actually carve through high pierce armor as well, so that's why, like, champions will not be super bad over here, but Chukanus still eat Malian champions. LaaaaN is waiting for this moment to strike. That's a lot of army though coming in here from LaaaaN, and this is a now or never from him. The thing, however, is that you have to just keep your camos alive and make sure the Cavalier don't hit the Chukanus, and I think that this might be enough for Villese to hold this one. He's going to take significant losses, or is this enough? The second time in this game where LaaaaN is just waiting, and then he unpops an army that just shatters Villese. That's brutal. This is just like AoE free. You camp and then suddenly, boom, there is a home city shipment of 100 units and you steamroll the opponent. And now Villese actually has to tech into his own champions, but that's gonna take forever for him. He still is supposed to have a massive lead in this game, as you see, the score is also indicating that, but also it's about the position in the game, potentially the ability that you can raid your opponent, and one of the reasons why Villese is actually behind, or not behind, but why he's not stomping his opponent here right now, I believe, is because he's floating a lot of resources, getting architecture in to repair that castle. So Villese needs to use those resources a little bit better, because right now he's floating an awful lot. That being said, the champ scars aren't necessarily cost efficient against the Chukanus here, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. And eventually, you still have like 45 Chukanus to fight against. And the problem that LaaaaN is facing, I believe, is that he's just unable to push out of his base right now. The map control is so limited for LaaaaN here, and we already have champion on the way, or well, 200 swordsmen right now, but soon. The upgrades will be there as well for Villese for his own swordsman, and he's just going to be able to match the swordsman of the opponent over here. Also, Malian champions are lacking the final attack upgrade, sort of as a nerf to make sure that they're not as strong as they could possibly be with the old pierce armor, but they're missing the final attack upgrade on their cavalry and on their infantry as well. On the cavalry, that is compensated by Farimba, but that's a pretty expensive upgrade and you need a castle for that. Great Wall! Great Wall! Villese is actually researching Great Wall here. I don't think it's gonna matter, but it's a very funny play. You can see that he's playing this one super safe. Stone walls, Great Wall, making sure he doesn't get raided. But I mean, I think that's the end of the story here for LaaaaN. His eco is completely collapsing under all these raids. That castle is not gonna go up. And yeah, there is champions coming in here, but LaaaaN is dropping in eco really fast, and these Voyagers are all exposed to some raids. It looks like a castle goes up here for Villese, but there's a lot of champions that will just absolutely shatter that. But now the Chukanus clean up all the champions in here, and there's just nowhere to go soon for LaaaaN. There is absolutely no hope for him to be able to counterattack this one, and Villese takes game number 1 in a very, very convincing fashion. I feel like in just certain moments, I haven't seen the idea behind the game plan of LaaaaN. Villese had a much, much cleaner game plan. Also, I think he had a better civ over here for Arabia, but still, the game plan I think was a little bit cleaner for Villese, although I didn't like his wars at the beginning. Fun fact, there was 100 villagers killed exactly in this game, 99 was killed by Villese, and Villese only lost a single villager in this entire game. So that actually tells you how much LaaaaN was able to pressure Villase's eco. He was just completely unable to. There was not a single counter raid. I don't even know where that villager died. It might have been a random villager somewhere around over here at the beginning. I don't really remember. But that was brutal. That was brutal, and I think this game was more one-sided than it actually seemed like. For moments, it seemed like LaaaaN is going to be able to counterattack that, but in reality, Villese was just struggling with population a little bit, and he was able to take much, much more efficient engagements throughout the game. His raids were more impactful. Did Villese win the Great Wall, or did he just do it for memes? Honestly, I don't know, but I would massively doubt that Villese is actually meming. Villese is not a player that actually does memes in tournaments. He plays that serious. I think he actually went for it because he wanted to make sure that there is no like a ram plus light calf push on the side, and it makes sense. Like, I'm not sure if Great Wall is what you need here, but you see that he was trying to wall off his base in a way that he's not going to get raided, and it is something that I can justify. As I said, Farimba light cav raids can always be devastating. I think Great Wall is more like an artifact from Villese not being aware of how much ahead he is. So he thought that his opponent is actually going to land some raids, but that didn't actually happen. And with that, we are gonna jump into game number 2 over here. So let me open that up. We're going to cross out the civilizations here real quick. And we will have a Chinese gone in the favor of Villese, and we will have Malians gone from LaaaaN, and we will jump into game number 2 over here. Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. Villese has a 1-game lead right now, and we are going to slopes, and Villese is going for a civilization that, once again, I'm just going to say I massively hate on this map. I just hate it. I don't like this civilization at all on this map. I understand the concept of the short fishing bonus for Indians, but I feel like the lack of knights, and they're like, Indians are so much one-trick pony towards their actual, short fish bonus, and I feel like there's a lot more civilizations that are more versatile, and one of the saves that I love on this map is Tatars. The versatility of Tatars is actually extremely outstanding here, so they can play scouts, they can play archers. Fast tumbling helps quite a lot. In the early crossbow pushes, they have cav archers available. They do have the heal bonus as well. So I feel like, really, Indians are all about, okay, let's get shorefish and try to get a food eco advantage over the opponent, and that's basically it. They do have reasonable cav archers and camels, that's not the problem. The problem is that they, I think, are struggling quite badly against the crossbowman play. I think they just struggle against a lot of civilizations in general, especially where you need some meat. Like, for example, they would actually struggle quite badly against a civilization like Malians in Castle Age, if Malians go for swordsmen. Malian swordsmen in Castle Age would actually be devastating against Indians. Obviously, Indians can go for camel archers, but that's not going to help quite a bit here. So, with that, we're going to take a close look on the piggies over here. I always love these pixelated silhouettes. I've been mentioning this many times, that they just look so cute. This is a game in 2021, ladies and gentlemen, and it is actually within the game. That is probably still legacy behavior in the engine on how pixelated these piggies are. You're not supposed to be able to zoom in like this, though. Although those of you that remember the old Wobbly Capture Age, you could zoom in even more. You could zoom into a single pixel. So, what do we have here? We have LaaaaN stopping for a moment for the piggy, and we will have 4 on wood from him, even though this lady actually is taking a day off, so you could actually just consider that 3.5. That lumber camp bug is actually pretty annoying. 4 on wood as well for Villese, so we're probably going to see men-at-arms or drushes on either side. And it looks like LaaaaN isn't noticing that Voyager being bugged. Okay, now he noticed it, but obviously this is going to delay him quite a bit. Also, I don't like that he's splitting these Voyagers for A1, because this is a very isolated Voyager that could be exposed to potential scout aggression. We'll have the hunt. Hunt! I understand the hunt concept because I guess Villese isn't able to afford the mill. So it makes some sense that he's going for the hunt at the beginning. So this is a pre-milled rush, you can't afford the mill. And this way you're going to send the Voyagers out a little early, go for the hunt first, and then make the mill whenever you can afford it. But that feels a little bit weird. Was she blocked by the board? I don't think so. She was just probably stuck. I don't think that this lady was blocked by the board. It sometimes happens that you get stuck like that on the wood line. No one knows why. So, LaaaaN is going to see these Voyagers over here, and here comes the mill loom just now in for Villese. That's actually a smart timing, I have to say, because you know that even with a pre-milled rush, your opponent isn't actually going to be able to catch you off guard. So you are perfectly fine timing your loom after a pre-milled rush timing, and it seems like Villese actually wants to get his own rush in here to just cancel the opponent's rush and just go happy fishing. LaaaaN is gonna go play much more conventional, and is he actually trying to play 21 pop men-at-arms? I'm not 100% sure. Now, Villese might actually intercept one of the militias over here as LaaaaN brings in the militias of his own. Worst case scenario for LaaaaN, he can kill the Huntables here, which would already do a lot of damage. But I think he might just end up trying to fight against Vilese's rush here. He will probably try to use the hill, but now he loses the hill advantage. And at the end of the day, this isn't really doing much for either player. We had a loom coming in as well for LaaaaN, but he then keeps adding Voyagers, so that was apparently just an intermission in between adding more Voyagers. And here comes the rush. Now, the ideal scenario is that you kill the opponent's scout and, well, his entire drush, but the scout is actually a pretty valuable unit in Dark Age because of the information, so being able to weaken or kill the opponent's scout actually means a lot, but it looks like Villese is going to have to run back. He will use one of his Voyagers to even the fight out right now, but at the end of the day, he is able to access the food over here, and that actually gives him a quite decent boost, and he's also moving out to the other pond. We'll see what else he is up to. He might be expecting his opponent to go for a Drush FC, and it seems like LaaaaN is actually going for a Drush FC. Now, we have seen this multiple times in the qualifiers, in previous rounds, that if one player plays Drush FC and just has all his base walled in and goes for berries, the other one can just go for the shorefish and the hunt on the outside, and just catch up in terms of economy. So I'm really not sure if a Drush FC actually makes sense over here for LaaaaN. He's going to be playing Drush FC crossbows here, most likely for a free tumbling upgrade, as Vilese's Drush has been completely killed, and now LaaaaN should be killing the Huntables. Indeed, that's the plan, and Villese needs to shoot the Huntables. He actually was successful shooting both of these, which means that LaaaaN wasn't able to kill any of those Huntables. That was actually very nicely done by Villese. And he also has the other pawn. Don't ask me why he's hunting here, though. He's Indians, just use the shorefish, man. I don't know why he's hunting. Maybe he feels like a Drush could actually be coming in there, or archers potentially in the future, and pick off the Huntables, so he wants to save the fish for later, but picking Indians for this map and then going for the hunt kind of feels weird at minimum. It's 27 from both players, so Villese is actually going for a very ambitious and ballsy strategy here. A Drush FC with a very open base and Voyagers on the outside. This is extremely ballsy from Villese. The only way I can justify this is if you know that your opponent is going to play Drush FC, and I feel like Villese understands that his opponent is probably going to play Drush FC as well. And that's why he's going for this. And Drush FC, with the food on the outside versus Drush FC with no food on the outside is going to be much, much more efficient for Villese. And you see the difference. Like, he's already sitting on 500 food in the bank. He has one villager queued up. His opponent, one villager queued up, 400 food in the bank. And he's about to run out of piggies, which means that this farm amount isn't going to be sufficient for LaaaaN. He's going to have to add at least 2 more farms in here. So, Shorefish just finishing, or well, not the Shorefish is finishing, the Hunt is finishing for Villese. Now goes for a Shorefish, and it's going to be a range Blacksmith. I think it wants to be a straight Cav Archer play from Villese, although it could be Archers as well to start the day with. Still, I like the game plan for Villese here, but you have to be 120% sure that your opponent is going for a Drush FC within his own walls. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, and you see that LaaaaN. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to afford clicking up to Castle Age here. His farm count was very, very low for this. You want way more farms. You want at least 7, 8 farms for a Drush FC without deer push. And he didn't push in a single deer. Actually, he might have pushed in 1 deer from this place because there is only 3 Ibexes over there and there's 4 over here. So it seems like LaaaaN pushed in 1 deer. But even then, you see idle time all the way. That's 30 seconds of idle time because they didn't have the food for it. And that's a disaster against Villese, who's much, much faster into Castle Age here. Oh man, I am not necessarily a fan of Villese's game plan here, but I understand the concept. It's a huge gamble. Villese is playing insane gambles over here, but it seems to pay off so far for him. And he's going to send 1 archer here to clean up those militias, I am fairly certain. But then it's going to be a crossbow push. Now here's the deal. His opponent is going to have the thumb ring immediately, so we'll see how Villese reacts to that. Might actually see a fast ballistics, but I definitely think that he needs to wall off the northern part of his base here. So it is going to be double ranges coming in, and with fletching for soon Botkin. And indeed, Villese is going to start walling himself off. It's already 5 archers for Villese, only 3 for LaaaaN, but as I said, it's going to be thumb ring archers, so that compensates a little bit. Villese is actually a little bit low on gold, so he's not going to be able to afford Botkin immediately. He just goes for crossbowman. And eventually the problem that Villese is going to be facing is that when he runs out of Shorefish and Hunt, his food eco is going to be an absolute mess. He's going to have 3 on food only. So here come the crossbows. His opponent is still 20 seconds behind, as Villese wants to bash his way through here. Still, the problem that Villese is going to be facing is that his eco isn't really suitable for sustaining this one. So yeah, you get a big boost in eco from the Shorefish and the Hunt, but that's basically all. And now we are going to take a look at LaaaaN, who's got a little bit more developed food eco. Over here, LaaaaN is using a scout to patrol this spawn to make sure that Villese is not sinking a couple of vultures over there for some extra eco. And you see that Villese now has to add mass farms, trying to squeeze out Botkin arrow for himself. That's why that TC is idle. Both players have quite a lot of TC idle time here, so neither of these players have super clean builds. But I think that the fact that LaaaaN is not pushing right now is already a win for Villese. Because Villese just wants to make sure that he has time to get his upgrades in. LaaaaN will now start pushing up. He's going to have thumb ring, so this is going to be a tough fight for Villese. Especially if LaaaaN is also able to take a hill like this one. As Villese indeed disengages immediately. Goes back for this hill. I think Villese kind of needs to hold hills himself to have a chance at taking this fight. As there is going to be University coming in here for Villese for ballistics. Picks off 1 crossbow. And as I said, he kind of has to play defensive until he doesn't have at least ballistics. Because otherwise those crossbows with thumb ring will just eat him. So it seems like we're going to have fast ballistics coming in here as well for LaaaaN. Still making crossbows, not switching to cav archers. Villese moves out and will disengage. Loses the scout in the process though. It is 12 archers against 12 archers. Both players playing somewhat passive, waiting for their upgrades to kick in. Ballistics will be coming in for Villese over here in a matter of moments, but he goes for +1 defense first. Tries to take a little bit of a map position over here with this hill. The original plan was to get through those palisade walls, but he sees the house behind and he'll probably cancel that idea. Ballistics on the way for LaaaaN first, soon followed by Villese once he has the resources for it. And that's gonna be a 20 seconds difference in ballistics timing. But it seems like Villese will be counterattacking here, so that's going to force LaaaaN to move there. Or LaaaaN could try getting through the walls of Villese, and there's a lot of places where those walls are very, very weak. And this gold mine isn't necessarily nice, so indeed Villese is going to have to tap out and come back in here. He's going to have the hill, and he's going to have the +1 defense, but doesn't have ballistics or thumb ring just yet. So for now, Villese is holding this one until he's grabbing ballistics for himself, and now he's going to be firing down hills. Now, with +1 defense, ballistics, and the hill advantage, I think he's going to be able to hold this one, but instead he disengages, loses 2 for 5, crossbows for 4, so that was rather even. Villese actually takes into Elite Skirm now. So I did mention that I don't like the Indians pick. It doesn't mean that Villese is in a bad spot, but I feel like Tatars is a much more natural civilization for this map, if you ask me. So Elite Skirms will be out in a matter of moments. Villese has to bleed the house to make sure that he can save those, but that means that the crossbows could march into the base of Villese here, and I don't know the exact stats, but after this game, we'll actually check out the win rate of Indians on slopes. I think it's less than 25%. And you see why. Obviously, the thumb ring is helping a lot here for the Tatar player, but that's exactly why I'm saying that there are much, much better civilizations for this map than Indians are. Indians is absolutely one-trick pony towards, let's get some fishing done, that's all about it. And even with Villese getting the fishing in, you see that at the end of the day, Tatars are able to perform just as good, if not better, than the Indians here. Because that free thumb ring is just so big of a help. So really, now it's a siege workshop coming in. Villese going for his own elite skirms, and that's something that LaaaaN has to be careful about, because those skirms have +2 defense as well. But once there is a mangonel out, you can actually start scaring away the skirmishers. Counterattack with crossbows coming in here for Villese, who still has a 4 Voyagers lead and goes for a second TC out there. Apparently LaaaaN wants to go for a very aggressive castlage push here. Tries to reinforce the walls over here, but these are still open. Though he could actually get a house up here, which would prevent these crossbows from breaking into the wood line. It seems like Villese is trying to sneak all the way around. He will pick off 1 Voyager most likely over here, or not. That is gonna be no Voyagers lost from LaaaaN. Nice reactions from him. And he's already mangoing down those ranges from a hill with Tatars. This is a mangonel for Tatars using a hill. Look at that. Each projectile damages that building by more than 100 damage. So basically it takes 18 shots to take down that range. And I'm not sure if Villese is actually going to be able to keep that range alive. Like, that's the thing. I don't like that this mangonel is alone. There is no crossbows supporting. As Villese is going to be free TCs here. Militia chasing down the crossbows. As he's going to die very easily. And there is going to be a siege workshop for Villese, but he's not having anything coming out of that just yet. It's only 8 elite skirms, and the ranges are going down really fast here, as I said. That is going to be just history in a matter of moments, and the second range will soon follow. First mangonel just in for Villese. Villese is going to be free TCs. His opponent is actually going to TC the stone and the hunt and the shorefish over here. Interesting decision. You could have TC'd the wood and just make a mill here, I guess. So the first range is down as the first mangonel is on the way for Villese. Remember that Villese is still going to be on free TCs, whereas his opponent is just making the third one. So Villese is going to have a nice and comfy villager lead. But if Villese is actually unable to get army on the field, like actual legitimate army and is capable of fighting this one, then he's going to be in huge trouble. So elite skirms, it looks like Villese will replace the archer ranges. He will try to get that mangonel killed by firing up here, so he'll probably delete his own mangonel as well doing so. Nope, he's trying not to delete the mangonel. Lands a shot, but it misses the target, and now he brings in the crossbows to pick it off from the other side. And nice splits from Villese. Picks off the first mangonel, and he will try to jump in the face of the other mangonel. Simultaneously, the crossbows are getting torn apart by the elite skirms, and Villese's breakout here is actually looking pretty decent now. He's having a 8 Voyagers lead. Better eco upgrades as well, so there is a Boso in that, and that mangonel goes down as well. And unless there's a cavalry switch coming in here from LaaaaN, the problem is that he's losing his mangonels, and a crossbow push here isn't going to work alone because the skirmishers will just overrun you. So what you need is crossbowmen and mangonels. There are nether mangonels coming in here now, but the thing is that Villese is actually stalling this push out, and that means that the boom for the Indians here will actually start showing with the cheaper Voyagers, though the Tatars boom with the extra sheep will also start becoming a factor, so both of these civs have pretty reasonable booms. As for now, Villese, as I said, stalls his push out. And I think he could use this hill to mango down the siege workshop to relieve the pressure from his base. Eventually, LaaaaN is going to have to transition into cav archers because Tatars don't have Arbalest available. So you have to make a pretty long time tech switch into cav archers. We'll see when that occurs, as Villese is going to launch an attack against this spawn over here. Might actually kill a couple of villagers if LaaaaN doesn't react in time. He could also kill the huntables, which would be an added benefit over here. Kills one villager, and indeed just focuses down the huntables. So, LaaaaN once again assembling an army here, but I think he will try saving that siege workshop. Not sure if that's going to be successful though. Mangonel taking down his shots. Here comes the Mangonel from LaaaaN, and the siege workshop goes down just in time for Villese. And I feel like Villese is slowly taking over in this game, because it's now 10 villagers lead. He's going to hit this wood line as well, and he destroyed the siege workshop, which means that at the end of the day, he's gonna be no longer pushed, and he can just play full elite skirm now against the crossbows. And it seems like we're getting a single stable in here. I wonder if it's a camo switch or if it's actually just gonna be for Bloodlines Husbandry for cav archers. Both civilizations have very, very good cav archers, but obviously the Tatar cav archers will be much better in a late game. So I would think that if Villese wants to play a long game here, then he's gonna have to play with the Indian camos. Army value is actually much, much greater for Villese here, especially now that he's taking some big Mangonel hits. Oh my goodness, LaaaaN. That was the entire army of LaaaaN over there, basically. Now takes down one Mangonel for a price, or two Mangonels for a price of one. That's nice, but right now Villese is outnumbering his opponent 27-1 in terms of army numbers. 27-1. That's the only combat unit that LaaaaN has on the field, that Mangonel. Now there is, I think, a couple more crossbows popping out, but soon Villese will just start marching into the base of LaaaaN over here, trying to hit the wood line. He knows that LaaaaN doesn't really have a safe wood line, I believe. He knows about the TC spot over here, which means that it's 3 TCs from LaaaaN. It's unlikely that you have a 4th one over here. So he's just trying to deny wood from his opponent right now, and you already have a next batch of crossbows coming to the other side to hit this gold mine, potentially hit this wood line. And it is 87-83 in terms of villager count, as Villese is going to fire down hills on that Mangonel. Mangonel is very, very low HP. Villese splits away, eats the edge of that shot, but still it's 3 skirmishers traded to a Mangonel. And as I said, there is crossbows coming in here, and slowly Villese is taking over. It was once again a sloppy start from Villese here, but there is a castle coming in. How do elephant archers do against Tatar cav archers? I have no idea, but that will be a fun matchup to see. So it looks like Villese was looking for gold miners here, but eventually he will find this wood line, and if LaaaaN doesn't react in time, he's gonna be in trouble. Imperial Age on the way for Villese, and that's gonna be a full camo switch, I believe. Or is it? I don't see any more units coming in here. Indians don't have Arbalest either, but there is scale barding, so that's gonna be a camo switch indeed. As the crossbows now move in, we will have... How many villagers killed here? 1. That's actually pretty low value for those crossbows. For Villese over here, LaaaaN reacted quite nicely, so the crossbows weren't able to do much, but that's obviously an awful lot of idle time, especially if you add the fact that they have to run away from wood. Now there is the cav archer switch from LaaaaN, but the problem that you're facing right now, that's gonna be an easy monk kill. So the problem that you're facing now if you're LaaaaN is that you're just gonna get overrun by Imperial Age camos that have had their pierce armor nerfed, but they're still a pretty formidable foe, and they also deal bonus damage against cav archers. And they also deal bonus damage against imp or in buildings, so they could melt buildings. But instead, we're going to see Villese going for light cavalry here. And remember that Indian light cavalry will receive the extra pierce armor now as well. So from that aspect, they're actually very, very similar to Turkish light cavalry. And here, if you just flood light cav, if you're Villese, even though you only have 38 on food, so that's not necessarily amazing for flooding light cav, but you can just take down villagers. I think that's the plan. You won't be able to really catch up with the cav archers, that's for sure, as the TC here is gonna go up. Cav archers might run past the TC and could cause some chaos, but it seems unlikely. There is no overchop over there. So it looks like this TC is gonna go up as well. There might be a 4th villager coming in here from LaaaaN for a siege workshop. Imperial Age on the way for LaaaaN using this TC over here. But Imp is just now in for Villese, and he's now going for Camel. He teched into late Cav, but I feel like Camel is just a better option here. You're beating your opponent very, very heavily into Imperial, so you have a +4 defense. That's basically the maximum that you can go for. That was the change. And we'll see if we're going to have heavy Camel. Indeed, here it comes. As we're probably going to see Tatar Halberdier coming in from LaaaaN. Tatar Halberdier are missing a lot of Pierce Armor though, so either Cav Archers from Villese or potentially Hand Cannoneers could actually take them down. Indian Hand Cannoneers are also slightly better than normal if they get the unique tech, which gives them one more range. It's called Shatagni. And the trap being set up here, Villese knows about the castle and he can start trapping it down immediately. While this is a building foundation, it's also taking a lot more damage, so the first couple of trap shots over here will actually be pretty impactful, and Villese reacts a little too late here trying to stop that castle that is definitely going up, so it's a little sloppy moving into the range with the crossbows. But now it's more and more camels, and there's Bracer. I think it's just gonna be Camel Elite Skirm at this point for Villese, as he's taking down that castle. Still 1 minute away from Imperial Age is his opponent. Villese will probably get a castle up some round over here and here as well in the near future, as Heavy Camel is now officially in. Camels are still looking for vultures to kill, and I'm just noticing how obsessed Villese is in this series with camels. First game he had a lot of camels. He ended up going for Heavy Camel in Imperial. This game as well, obviously here it's a different scenario because he's Indian, so he kind of has to, but still. There probably will be light cav raids coming in on the right side. Indeed, light cav already flooding right, and LaaaaN's food eco is kind of shifted towards the right side. So you see that in the screen, I have 15 farms out of the 35. So this is definitely raidable food eco, which is going to slow down his switch towards a Halberdier. Now this is an awful fight for Villese. I mean, it's only Spearman, now Pikeman, but that was still a disaster fight for Villese. However, LaaaaN is also losing quite a lot of vultures. LaaaaN is down by 17 right now. Multiple traps shelling that castle as Imperial Age is just in for LaaaaN. Chemistry on the way for both players. We'll see if that's actually going to be Hand Cannoneer from Villese, who is kind of stopping to make camos here. Just going for light cavalry and go for more and more raids. And remember, those light caps have crazy pierce armor. 6 pierce armor means that these cav archers do 2 damage per hit. And we might just see the raids crippling LaaaaN over here. The castle goes down. Funnily enough, it's somewhat understandable that Slopes is the home map of LaaaaN. That's something I want to talk about while we're looking at this carnage where Villese is actually taking over slowly. In Hidden Cup 3, the decider game between Hera and LaaaaN in the first round was Slopes, and LaaaaN played that so well. So I'm not surprised this was his home map, but Villese, I'm not actually going to say thanks to Indians, I'm going to say despite playing Indians, he still wins this one. Because if you think back on what he got from Indians, a bit of extra food at the beginning, but he was in trouble against the early crossbows of the opponent. Yeah, the light cavalry is nice here with the extra pierce armor, sure, but Turks give you the same thing as well. I feel like here he won because he's just a better player than LaaaaN, or at least he was a better player in this game than LaaaaN, not necessarily because of Indians. So with that, Villese is up 2 games, and as I said, I feel like it really depends on the shape of LaaaaN, and I'm feeling like LaaaaN is in an alright shape, but Villese is very sharp. So Villese is actually bringing in the hardcore, cold-blooded brute force Villese that we are used to seeing nowadays in tournaments. So in the couple of recent tournaments, Villese has always been surgical precision, clinical execution. So with that, we have game number 2 done, and we'll soon have game number 3. So this is definitely going to be on the home map of LaaaaN once again. So we will see what that home map is going to be. Let's see if there is a word from Robo. There is no word from him just yet. So let's take a look at the home maps while we're waiting. As LaaaaN loses Slopes, I think this will be the time for Islands. This will be the time for Islands. And Cross could also be an option, but I feel like Cross is somewhat similar in playstyle to Slopes in a way. So it's a rather open map, mobility-based, very macro-intensive. I feel like LaaaaN has a better chance on islands. But so far, Villese is very, very convincing, and he's up 2 games in the first 2. So let's see how we're doing. I'm not sure how they're doing overall playing the series. We might just continue casting Rex depending on how things are standing. If those are Rex, Robo will provide them. No surprise about that, I believe. So we will have the Islands game coming in here in a matter of moments. So indeed, LaaaaN chooses what I think is the better map selection for him over here. We will visit Islands. We're gonna have LaaaaN playing on the right side as Italians in red, left side is Portuguese in blue for Villese. And I've talked about this many times in the previous qualifiers, that I just simply feel that Portuguese is a better civilization than Italians on water. It's that plain and simple. Obviously, Italians have their nicer power spikes if you think about that. So what do the 2 civs give you? Let's compare. Italians, they would actually give you an earlier age up because it is cheaper. The dock and university technologies cost less. It's helpful, especially the dock part. Fishing ship costs you less. That also is nice. In comparison, however, the Portuguese have 20% less gold cost on all their units. It seems like we have a pause. What? Oh wait, it's not a pause. It was a pause because I was looking at the text tree within the game. Whoops. Sorry for that. So, 20% gold discount on your gold units, higher HP on your ships, including fishing ships, but more importantly, galleons, fire galleys, fire ships, demos could be very, very useful. So at the end of the day, I think Portuguese is just a better water civilization right now. Let's talk about the maps. This gold mine is actually pretty alright-ish for Villese. It's actually safe. The thing I don't like is that it's actually blocking a quite decent wood line. Other gold mine is not so great though. It is definitely exposed to war galley aggression and very, very far away from the town center. So this is an awful gold, this is an awful stone, and overall, the shape of Vilese's island is not something I'm impressed about. This stone is also quite bad overall. So Villese is a very, very underwhelming island. But same can be told about LaaaaN, to be honest. This wood line, for example, is like utterly useless. This stone mine is sort of exposed. This gold mine is alright. Both players have pretty far away deer, by the way, so it is challenging for them to push them in. This gold mine is also very far away. Could be partially denied by war galleys or galleons. So, in the long run, Portuguese should be dominating Italians. Italians kind of have to capitalize on their early advantage from the cheaper technologies, especially Castle Age Power Spike with War Galleys could be, or the War Galley upgrade could be the name of the game for the Italians here. So, we're gonna have a front dock over here for Villese, whereas it's a back dock for LaaaaN. Now that is interesting. That is very, very interesting. Is he actually gambling on a fast castle here, hoping that Villese isn't going to land him? Or it could be a sneaky fishing eco here at the back. I don't think that this galley or this dock is good enough for oh man, it might be a side dock attempt. It might be a failed side dock attempt. I'm not 100% sure, because just look at LaaaaN's vision. He might think, hey, my island ends here, so my first dock is over here at the back. I'm gonna make my second over here and the third over here, and I'm gonna have a nice side dock play, right? But reality is that this island spans over here, so this might be a massive failure. If this actually is attempted side dock play, which could be the case, this is gonna be a failure. Because this is not a good side dock position. Obviously, it's going to help you mass galleys. The problem is that you're just going to be so far away from your opponent, right? And when your docks are that much at the back, you're always exposed to a landing, even though I think it's somewhat unlikely that we're going to see Villese attempting a landing on this map here. So soon LaaaaN is going to find out that there is like a massive peninsula over here that he might not have accounted for. So for now, it seems like both players are actually pushing in deer. Preemptive loom coming in here for LaaaaN in case he gets landed. Or maybe he actually wants to land himself, I don't know. He could definitely think about landing, because a back dock could also be a clue that he wants to land himself. Villese is actually going for Loom Feudal as well, making sure that he doesn't get caught off guard by a landing. And his Feudal is actually going to be better than LaaaaAN's Feudal, though. He went for Loom. He's one villager behind, but he was able to click up a little bit faster over here. I think the dock might have been a little too late for LaaaaAN. I'm not 100% sure why he was this late to Feudal Age, but with Italians, you should be the one that is clicking up faster because you have the cheaper click up. Also worth noting that LaaaaAN for whatever reason started moving towards this gold mine, but ends up chopping wood here, and these will be the gold vultures here. So he wants to play standard galley rush, so it seems, but I feel like Villese already has the upper hand in that. He's gonna have the fire galleys out. I think that LaaaaAN is gonna play standard galleys though. LaaaaAN has 2 extra vultures now free because it is more fishing ships for him. So he's capitalizing on the cheaper Italian fishing ships. But I am really unsure what LaaaaAN's plan is here. There is a second dock, and I am fairly certain this wanted to be a side dock play, but he didn't account for this peninsula. This wanted to be a side dock Italian straight galley play, but he didn't think that there's a peninsula here, and now he's gonna have to adjust, and that's gonna be basically a back dock galley play. Now fire galleys are coming out here for Villese, which actually is a nice advantage for LaaaaAN overall, because what this would give to LaaaaAN is a chance to mass his galleys, and in fact, if... oh, fire galleys. Fire galleys with back dock, holy smokes. What is that game plan from LaaaaAN? Backdock fire galleys, I think a very, very bad decision here. Like, I don't even understand the concept. Now, he's got the eco lead because he's got the extra fishing ships, sure. But I feel like if he was up against a more aggressive player, he could get landed immediately. And don't underestimate Villese. If he actually starts realizing, hey, he's going for a fish boom at the back and I might not be able to threaten that, he's just going to use the fact that his opponent is... having his front wide open, and you could go for a landing. So, in fact, you could say you could go for a landing. So, with that, fire galleys are looking for the docks of the opponent, like the way they should. So you split one to the right, one to the left, and try to find the opponent's dock as fast as possible. You will soon spot the fire galleys coming out over here. Remember that Portuguese fire galleys are cheaper, and they're actually stronger as well. So that's a very, very nice composition. Over here, as their fire galley is going to loop all the way around and might actually find the fishing eco here. It's triple docks for LaaaaAN, only just getting the third dock up for Villese. So it is going to be 3 docks from both sides, but here's the deal. As I said, the longer the game goes, the better it is for Portuguese. LaaaaAN actually wants to fast castle this one though. That was the plan. I'm starting to understand the concept now. This might actually indeed want it to be a back dock fish boom play. Because that early market actually tells me that he wants to just go up into castlage and go for fire ships. Not a bad idea from LaaaaAN. The problem that he's not counting for is that his opponent is not going to be that much behind because his opponent's fishing eco is also intact. So obviously, LaaaaAN is probably going to beat his opponent into castlage by about a solid minute or maybe even a minute and a half. But we'll see if that is enough. That demo could actually connect nicely to the fire ships. Nice split in the last second from Villese. Villese has 6 fire galleys against 5. But as expected, LaaaaAN is going to start buying himself up, needing the second building. This is definitely a faster castlage here. That was the game plan. Wasn't like a pure full greed fast castle. This was sort of a kind of slower version of a fast castle over here. Making a couple of fire galleys to make sure that you don't get overrun. And it seems like he might not even sell his stone. Maybe he was thinking about selling stone, but he ends up not doing that. And actually, in this case, this is a nice build from LaaaaAN. It's actually a very, very nice build from LaaaaAN. So, Villese will have to retreat here for time being, as Villese is switching it to galleys here. He's still far from clicking up to Castle Age though, and this is really a good build from LaaaaAN. And I would think that this is a good build against a player like a Villese. We have to add that though. Because more aggressive players would actually land you upon seeing that your front is completely open. You could be very, very exposed by a landing if you are doing this at the back of your base. So the only reason why LaaaaN is capable of doing that, I believe, is because he probably knows that Villese is not one of the more aggressive players in here, so he's unlikely that he wants to land. You would never do something like this against a player like Lix, for example. So, galleys are out though. The problem that Villese will be facing is that the galleys will be pretty much obsolete against fire ships in Castle Age. Nice micro from LaaaaN, saving that weak fire galley. And I think that soon Villese has to realize that his opponent is on the way to Castle Age, but Villese, just getting a market up, he will probably sell a stone to go up, honestly, because he kind of has to, as LaaaaN is almost up himself. 4 docks. The disadvantage that LaaaaN is going to have right now is that it's going to take quite a lot of time until his fleet actually gets to the docks of his opponent, and now Villese, upon seeing his opponent is in Castle Age, he would realize that, okay, I have to run. So, careening coming in really fast over here for LaaaaN, and now I think if you're Villese, you have to go for a couple of demo rafts, because you have to slow down those fire galleys or fire ships pushing you. So a couple of demos would definitely be really, really helpful here for Villese, who is repairing his fire galleys over here as well. Here comes one demo, a galley, and no more demos, and he still needs to run. Just keep running and buy yourself a bit of a time. This is the problem that you're having with all those back docks. It's going to take forever for those ships to actually get to the front line, and it actually gives a lot of time for Villese to potentially come back into this game and catch up in terms of Castle Age time. You have to sell 100 stone to do that. Second TC on the way for LaaaaN. This is definitely better for LaaaaN. Overall, a demo raft is coming in here. You're trying to slow this fleet down, so you don't necessarily want to trigger that demo because it's not going to do a lot of damage. It's more about trying to scare your opponent away from your docks as much as possible, trying to get some very, very good demo connections, like this one, for example. Some of the fire ships actually are taken down by the demo. The galleys still need to microwave. Another demo could actually connect. And there is actually a demo ship, though. Multiple demo ships, in fact, from LaaaaN, and they're getting dangerously close to the galleys. One gets triggered, fire ships go down. I think this was alright for LaaaaN here, given the circumstances, but not good enough, and there's still enough galleys to finish this one off. There's a lot of weak fire ships here, so it seems like Villese is going to be able to weather the storm, and the problem that LaaaaN is facing is that it takes forever for him to pull up the reinforcements. He's unable to overrun his opponent with fire ships, because they're just so slow arriving to the combat. Yes, Villese is going to lose 3 fishing ships, and LaaaaN was going to have a pretty decent eco lead from the fishing ships and the 2 TC. However, now that both players are in Castle Age, the war galleys will be a much more impactful navy for Villese, so much so that he could just camp over here and start killing the Voyagers on the wood line, for example. So that's something that now LaaaaN has to be really careful about. His opponent is up to Castle Age. There is a 7 Voyagers lead for LaaaaN, but the quality of Villese's fleet is much better as he goes for a second TC instead of a fast ballistics play. Now, when you're up against fire galleys or fire ships with your own war galleys, you probably don't prioritize the fast ballistics that much, because that is probably more likely to be used in a galley versus galley or war galley versus war galley fight. So as long as you're up against fire ships, you're fine without ballistics and go for a second TC. And look at LaaaaN's fleet. He's looking for fishing ships or so to kill, but there is nothing over here. In fact, the only problem that I'm facing right now for Villese is that he's on 3 docks only, but other than that, I feel like Villese is once again taking over in this game. After some scary moments, he's able to stabilize, and now he's actually going for his own fire ships, which in quality will actually be better than the Italian fire ships. So these guys will have 120 HP, and there is going to be 132, I believe, for the fire ships of Portuguese. And this dock, oh, that's actually Villese not paying attention. So he's actually going to eat a fairly big demo hit on his war galleys, but still one dock goes down, making it just free for LaaaaN. And that's going to be 3 docks as well for Villese. Both players will be on 2 TCs, although you have to add that Villese's food eco isn't impressing me here. 9 on food versus 20 on food. So Villese still needs to be really aggressive, trying to push the fishing eco, trying to start controlling the water, because his opponent is seemingly going to beat him into Imperial at this pace. That food eco is much better, and now LaaaaN could be thinking about going for an earlier Imperial and trying to go with fast fires. A lot of those fire ships for LaaaaN though aren't really doing much, to be honest. In fact, the borderline starts to seem like as if he's intentionally hiding them from his opponent. because he's not really taking fights with them, but he's not even grouping them up or something. So he's either looking for fishing ships in the corners, or he is just waiting until he actually can go into Imperial and go for fast fires. The problem is that that's gonna be 14 fire ships over here, and slowly the docks are going down for LaaaaN, who is rebuilding elsewhere, but oh, that's a disaster for LaaaaN. I mentioned that his ships are absolute no-show. Like, they're here and here. When the fight is going on the other side of the map, and I don't think that LaaaaN expected fire ships to show up over here, suddenly he loses half of his fishing eco, and the two players are now even in terms of fishing economy. And it seems like we are indeed seeing a faster Imperial Age here for LaaaaN. The problem is he going to be able to preserve his navy until then? Because it seems like he's soon going to get sandwiched in between the two fleets coming from this side and this side, although now it is Villese who is gonna get sandwiched pretty badly over here, gets caught off guard. Vorgalis will focus down these fire ships, and I think Villese will need a couple of demos to even the odds right now, as LaaaaN wants to go into Imperial here. Villese is nowhere close, and I have to say that Villese is actually doing LaaaaN is doing a much better job with using the civilization that he's given. So at this very moment, look at this, faster Imperial Age. I like Portuguese more on this map than Italians, but given that fact, I feel like LaaaaN is using his civilization better than Villese right now. So it's hard to beat Italians here, but I feel like the real key was that LaaaaN also started adding farming eco a lot faster. So Villese tries to catch up in economy, and he will eventually catch up. The problem is that he's going to lose water in the process, because his opponent is on the way to Imperial, and he will get fast fires. He will definitely get fast fires. The bigger question is, I believe, if we're going to see immediate galleons, because he's teching into fletching, and this will be the moment for LaaaaN to start adding villagers on stone and securing the middle islands. So Villese is actually getting close to clicking up to Imperial himself, adds villagers to stone. It's, I think, almost guaranteed that he's going to lose the water for some time. The question is, can he reclaim it? And you have to keep in mind that Villese will be on 3 TCs and his opponent is only on 2. And as I said, Italians are actually a very power spike based civilization on islands. With the cheaper age up, cheaper dock techs, they have to capitalize on reaching the next stage faster and getting to the better units faster. But once Villese reaches into Imperial Age himself, as he gets a couple of demos inside these docks, he's gonna be able to get to better ships. Like, he has everything that Italians have, just better. He also picks up 2 relics here, nice little boost. Something that LaaaaN hasn't done, and that is going to be transport coming from LaaaaN. I think LaaaaN wants to grab this relic in the first place for himself. And surprisingly, Villese doesn't really make a lot of fleet. In fact, he's not making anything. Fast fires, Botkin, chemistry on the way for LaaaaN. And one of the things that shouldn't be underrated, though, is Condottieri. And if LaaaaN is playing this one smart, he would already land with Condottieri, because he's going to start floating a lot of food that now he doesn't have to upgrade a lot of units. And one thing that Italians have over Portuguese is, as I said, condos. So I'm not sure what that transport is doing, but bring in a couple of villagers, land with Condottieri, and you're gonna have a very easy time starting to hit the opponent's eco. And I also like the fact that he's capitalizing on the early Imperial with the fast fires, yet he already is preparing for the Galleon transition. Now, the thing is that in a Galleon fight, Portuguese will clap the Italians very easily, and he also needs to be careful not to eat some big demo shots, but it is almost guaranteed that we will need a redocking here from Villese, which is something that he's trying to do over here, and that's going to be a failure. He's gonna need a castle then. Here comes the villager, and it's going to be spotted by Villese, but does it matter? That's the scale mail, as Villese is trying to knock down the transport, but that's condos. I feel like LaaaaN is actually taking over this game. I feel like Villese isn't going to have the chance to redock, rebuild his fleet, and simultaneously defend against the Condottieri push. So, and remember that there is already galleons coming in here for LaaaaN, and all LaaaaN needs to do is just keep patrolling these shorelines and try deny resources, try and deny redockings. And I think what Villese needs to do, these stone walls are nice, but he would already lose, he would lose one of his gold mines. This is already a dream for LaaaaN. All he needs to do is just make sure that this gold mine is inaccessible for Villese, so are these. And Villese is going to run out of gold very soon. All he needs to do is just prevent Villese from accessing this gold. Villese will try to castle this one, and he will redock over here though. If you're land, you want to castle here and start tabbing that down. And that's actually a lot of ships here from Villese, something that we haven't seen so far. And there, by the way, is a hole. There is a hole here. There is a hole here, and the condos are now flooding in. I'm not sure where they got in. They could be getting in through here because the galleons will deny the walls and the fire ships can burn them down, but there is also a hole there. So condos are definitely in, and you can't just defend with organ guns because condos are meant to destroy them. Galleon upgrade from Villese instead of fast fire means that he's not gonna be able to capitalize on all those fire ships here. He will try to get back to Galleon, but he's definitely on the back foot, on a timer, because he's running out of gold. This game looks like it's gonna be in the hands of LaaaaN. Not right now, it's gonna be in the hands of LaaaaN in the next 5 or so minutes. Because LaaAAN's fast fires are eating the fire ships of Villese over here. There's already a lot of galleons coming in. And remember that all LaaAAN needs to do is just deny this gold and this gold. In fact, if you are LaaAAN right now, you even stonewall this gold in and make sure that Villese isn't able to access it. And now the condottieri are showing their power. What condottieri give you is a unit that has a pretty decent damage output, rather fast moving, something that you don't need to tech into. You just need barracks and you can already start spamming them. So that is basically the condottieri. You don't need to tech into like light cav, attack upgrades, if you compare it to light cav, for example. So really, condottieri is a very good raiding unit in situations like this. And it seems like Villese is trying to get his fleet back on track here, but he's definitely facing an uphill battle right now. He's getting pushed on land, and remember that LaaaaN can play this one safe. I don't necessarily like that castle. I think he just wants to prevent a counter landing though. I feel like a castle here would have been better. But LaaaaN is also sitting on 2 relics. And he should have a third one, right? Because there was a relic on this island. So it's 2 relics for both players. That's a little bit surprising over here. LaaaaN, 99 Voyagers against 86. For now, Villese is actually holding this one. And the thing is, don't tell me that Villese is going to come back into this one. That would be an absolute heartbreaker for LaaaaN. Because if you look at the ship numbers now, that's actually starting to equalize. And remember that Portuguese galleons are worth so much more than the opponent's ships. There is no careening for Villese. He's gonna need that. He's gonna need dry dock really fast. And he's gonna need Karak as well. However, he's slowly cleaning this one up. He could make a trap and trap that one down as well. Reclaim his gold. And eventually, as I said, Portuguese will just be much better in water fights compared to Italians in late game, like post-Imperial. They are not completely better yet, but they're getting there, so... Still, I think Villese is sort of on a timer, but he might not be giving up on this one very easily, and he's assembling his fleet with careening, as I think the plan here is to trap this navy here. He's going to unpop the galleons on one side and coming in with the galleons on the other, and remember that if these fast fires go down, which could still happen, then suddenly the 2 fleets are actually even, and in fact the Portuguese galleons will be much better than the galleons of the Italians. There is dry dock coming in for those ships, especially the fire ships to move faster is going to be important. Villese unpopped the galleons. It's 29 galleons against only 20, but there is a lot of fire ships supporting over here, trying to get a good surround, and the fire ships are idle. The fire ships are idle here, and Villese, if he destroys this fleet here, and he has every chance to do that, that would be a disaster for LaaaaN. LaaAAN's aggression here is slowly getting cleaned up. There was a trap that is taking on barracks, as LaaAAN is trying to steal some gold. There is a landing with traps coming in here as well, so LaaAAN is not giving up on this one, but if this fleet goes down, suddenly Villese is going to take over the water. And it seems like it's gonna go down, because now the numbers advantage is heavily on the side of Villese. Now, he's about to lose this castle over here, and LaaaaN still has a huge fleet over here, but you have to keep in mind that, look at this. Now soon, Villese can start moving with his ships. This castle will probably go down before Karak would actually come in for those galleons, which means that they're not going to be as good as they could possibly be. But it's 27 galleons against 29. Villese is still on the back foot, but I think he's slowly recovering, as weird as it sounds like. There's 2 traps on his island, sure, but you have to keep in mind, as I said, that the Portuguese ships will be better in the long run. Still, way better eco for LaaaaN, I believe. LaaaaN is also able to steal some gold from his opponent, which helps. Soon LaaaaN is gonna move to the neutral island. And the problem that Villese is facing is that the castle that I criticized at the beginning actually comes in clutch because it prevents these ships from sailing around here. So that castle being lost actually hurts. The relics being lost in that monastery could actually hurt really badly for Villese, who is going to make a bombard cannon, and he taps out at the end of the day. He feels like it's too much, and I have to say that even though I still like Portuguese better on islands, LaaaaN did the perfect gameplay with Italians to make this one good. So he knew exactly that he can't wait until both players are post-Imperial because he's just going to get beaten by Galleons, and you have seen signs of that already here. But he capitalized on the early Imperial fast fire pilot spike, and many players just sit back and chill. Okay, I've won water with fast fires and allow the opponent to redock. That wasn't the case for LaaaaN. He landed, got a couple of Condati area out, and it already knocked Villese out of his rhythm. Villese had to do so much walling. LaaaaN also had good like shoreline presence, which means that he was able to deny potential redocking attempts, delay them, or so. And at the end of the day, LaaaaN takes game number 1 on his second home map. So he's not going down that easily. This was pretty convincing from LaaaaN, and you see that some games are very, very good from LaaaaN, some are actually much worse. So we'll see if LaaaaN is able to keep up this performance over here, because as things stand, he could definitely make this one competitive, but he needs to play like 100% of his skills. And in the previous games, it was more like 70-80%. This was very, very good. So with that, Villese loses his Portuguese, and Italians will be a win by LaaaaN. And now we will go to Gold Rush, Bay, or Hideout. I would think that if I was Villese, I would probably go for Bay. Just kind of, you don't want a well-defendable map like Hideout right now. You want something that's a little bit more open-ish, and Bay could be a very reasonable decision for that. That's what I'm saying for Villese. We're actually going to have to wait until Robo uploads the recorded game, but here it is. So off we go. Game number 4 coming in here, and we are gonna have, let me load up the game. Indeed, Bay, and Villese is gonna be playing Persians. His opponent is going to be playing Mongols. It looks like LaaaaN once again has internet issues, something that has been haunting him for many tournaments. I remember that I think he even had to forfeit a series in King of Desert maybe because of his internet, so we have to give him the fact that internet issues are definitely weakening his performance, I believe. Obviously, it can't all be blamed on internet, but a slow and weak internet definitely hurts when it comes to competitive gameplay. So, LaaaaN needs a sponsor. It's not necessarily about the sponsor, to be honest. Like, it might just be, you know, internet coverage where you live. Oftentimes, that's the thing. So, there is one provider, and if that provider is bad, then you're just not gonna have good internet speed. That's sort of the thing. Anyways, we're gonna have Persians for Villese in blue on the left and Mongols on the right side for LaaaaN in red. And I have to say that this is definitely one of the Civ matchups where I massively prefer Mongols, especially in a post-Imperial scenario. Persians will have their moments, especially early to mid Castle Ages where Persians could shine over the Mongols player. We're seeing a fast dock strategy over here from Villese, and we are gonna have the first boar already coming in here for LaaaaN. This is actually earlier than normal, but obviously with Mongols you want to bring that boar as early as possible because you want to get your food bonus as fast as possible, trying to go for a fast dock as well. So the Persian fast dock strategy allows you to have a nice little advantage in eco across Dark Age compared to your opponent, and that compensates a tiny bit for the faster age up of Mongols for this. So that is actually a reasonable idea over here for Villese. We'll see what he follows up with, but for now he already has a dock. He won't be able to afford more fishing ships for a while, but still, that's a persistent one voyager lead, and that is something that matters right now for our Suomi player. We'll have the scout coming in here from Villese, trying to potentially deny the dock from the opponent, as we will have the docking villager coming in soon for LaaaaN. So, dock is coming up over here on the front for LaaaaN, as we have the piggies stolen over here by Villese, and we also have Baba. That's gonna be a painful name to pronounce. Babagain or something like that. Thank you so much for the new sub. Welcome. I totally just brutally screwed up your name pronunciation, but whatever. You get what I mean. I appreciate it. Alright, so interesting is the fact that the Villese isn't actually trying to wall his front with the houses. Oftentimes you actually start doing that because usually you're open, you have a very, very open front over here. So stone on the front, that's a standard map generation thing over here on this script. Wood at the back, gold at the back is very, very nice for Villese, even though this gold is not perfect. But if you go something like this, in case you get pushed, you will have a lot of wood and gold to work with at the back, so that's very, very nice for Villese, who also seems like he's missing on 2 tiles of his piggies. So, for a moment, both players were down 2 piggies, and I'm not sure if Villese is actually going to find those in the foreseeable future, which actually hurts, because when you play Galley Rush, you have to start adding villagers on food in Feudal, and that's always a little bit the problematic part, because you'll probably send a lot on berries. You don't really want to start adding farms early, so losing 2 sheeps like that actually hurts quite a bit. 3 fishing ships for Villese, only 2 for LaaaaN, getting the 3rd one just now in. And we will end up with this scout lurking over here. Both scouts have full HP. This is extremely important because either of these could attempt snipe on a repair villager. So, indeed, here is Villese. He won't be able to kill this villager because that's a Dark Age scout and that's a villager with loom. But what you could do is potentially delay that villager from adding the dock. And it seems like that is not going to happen, but for security, LaaaaN pulls back his scout to protect the villager. Second dock is going to be coming in for Villese soon over here. Somewhere around over here would be the ideal spot for him. And Villese. That's going to be a late second dock from Villese here. Right? I mean, he's 22 seconds away from Feudal Age, no sign of the second dock. What is Villese up to? Oh, don't tell me. He might... What? This wants to be a land push? Oh, it's towers. It's a forward. Now, the Persian dock works faster, so you can compensate for having 2 docks from the opponent. But yeah, this felt very, very weird for Villese here. And it seems like he's gonna go for the aggressive strategy. I wonder if his opponent knows this. I don't think he does. But if you are LaaaaN right now, you will see that there's only 1 dock, and that should be a clear clue that there's a land push coming. So you see that he's scouting the entire shoreline. He's looking if there is a second dock, and now he's going to realize there is no second dock, and will probably start walling himself immediately. So you will see the reaction in a matter of moments. He's still looking for the other dock, still looking, and realizes, okay, this guy is actually going to push me on land and not going to fight water, so I'm going to have to wall myself. Now, here's the deal. There's a scout over here that could deny the walls, and there's already a range, and this is going to be a spear and skirm forward. Something that we have seen a couple of times, although there is going to be archers as well mixed in. The walls are nice over here from Lando. He had to disengage with the scout here, and he wasn't able to prevent the walls. But you can always run through the water here, even though it's a little risky if your opponent has a demo. Still, the fishing eco is still alive for Villese, because it looks like LaaaaN is withdrawing his fire galleys to make sure that these archers don't get through here. Tower comes in here, as the barracks is just on the way for LaaaaN. LaaaaN doesn't have stone on the front though. This is one of the reasons why tower rushes could be often viable on this map, because you have both players having the stone on the front, which means that it is nearly impossible to counter tower if you aren't anticipating a tower rush, and that is not something that LaaaaN has anticipated. Now that being said, you're probably going to use these Voyagers to mine stone in the front before dropping additional towers, as it seems like we will have LaaaaN trying to sneak out a couple of Voyagers. Villese actually is going to withdraw from this engagement. He's looking for these Voyagers on the hunt, or just the hunt in general, to see if there is Voyagers on it. But Villese losing his fishing geek over here, and indeed 2 Voyagers will be on stone, and soon we will see additional towers as well. Blacksmith on the way. And where exactly is LaaaaN heading? He might be looking for neutral stone mines or just a mill for the hunt. I'm not 100% sure. Or potentially another forward. He might be looping around, trying to drop a stable or something and counterattacking Villese, who does have a very, very weird dance for his Voyagers. I've pointed out that dance many times, but still. Now, here's the deal. Look at the wood lines of LaaaaN. He's got none. At this very moment, Villese is 2 towers away from completely denying his opponent from any accessible wood. And that is brutal to think about. And keep in mind, this is a Persian dock, so it takes quite a lot of time for LaaaaN to destroy this. And you see that Villese is massing fire galleys. He's probably going to mass them inside and wait until he has free so he can unpop them and start counterattacking. So he will distract LaaaaN and then try to counterattack on the water. Here comes a tower on this wood line, which would leave LaaaaN with only 1 over here. He's already sending Voyagers there. There is the piggies discovered. And I have no idea what LaaaaN is going for, but that's going to be another forward from him. Tower comes in just now. That's a nice tower position. LaaaaN could actually make a counter tower himself if he sees this, and he should. Oh, he sees it, but no counter tower. He doesn't have the wood for it right now. 50 wood now. He should be able to make it, but I feel like LaaaaN is actually... Like, why is there no counter tower from LaaaaN? Now he needs to make a defensive tower somewhere around over here. If he does one over there, then he's gonna have 1 secure wood line and he's gonna be fine. But look at this. He's actually really low on wood. I think he's trying to save up for the stable. But now that the scout is on the front, I think Villese starts to realize that, hey, my opponent might actually try to counterattack me over here. And those 2 Voyagers, once they finish gathering the stone, they will drop a tower over there, as it looks like LaaaaN wants to move out, maybe even try breaking that tower down. There's more archers on the way. Scout gets killed, and there is going to be a range to counterattack this one as well. Not Max. Villese still has his scout alive, so you could actually potentially find that one. And the dock only has 1 fire galley inside. So this wood line is far from being efficient, and I assume that now the next wood line for Villese will be over here. And look at this. LaaaaN actually wants to tower this stone mine to prevent his opponent from actually getting stone over there, but that might actually be an awful attempt. Counter tower is coming in, but more importantly, there's a lot of archers in here for Villese, and I think if they scam the bottom of that tower, that might be enough. Oh boy, for LaaaaN. If this doesn't go up, this might be game. And it is going up. There is skirmishers over here to support, so that's actually a life-saving scenario for LaaaaN over here, and Villese is the one that has to bail on this attempt. By the way, Villese is playing semi-open, so archers will actually be able to start counterattacking this one, as now Villese has to withdraw. Villese also making fire galleys, though, as I said, he wants to trying to counterattack this one. Gets a couple of skirmishers out himself. His opponent also has +1/+1, whereas Villese is only playing with +1 defense. And food ecos, remember that these fishing ships are still working for LaaaaN, and that gives him a massive food eco advantage over his opponent. He's even going to get the hunt over here with Mongols, which works nicely. So it seems like LaaaaN is going to be able to weather the storm here. Goes in and tries to dive in on the archers. Nice micro from him, picking off the majority of the archers. It's only skirms, but he killed most of them. And right now, LaaaaN has a safe wood line, LaaaaN has a safe fishing eco, and LaaaaN has a safe food eco overall, and indeed he wants to buy himself up to Castle Age here. I think we're getting closer and closer for 2-2, and it turns out that LaaaaN might actually just send those piggies back over here, but soon, if LaaaaN is playing this one smart, he's just going to sit inside this range with the crossbows and wait. He wants to wait. Oh, he sees the hole, and the Villese does not. If you're LaaaaN right now, oh, now Villese sees it as well. And because he saw the piggies there, he knows that his opponent knows about that hole as well. So it might have been a mistake for LaaaaN to send those piggies in there. He might have been checking for holes, but this revealed the hole for Villese. But as in many cases, we are seeing that the team or the player with the fishing eco that's kept alive in Fuel Age is going to beat the opponent to Castle Age. And yeah, sure, Villese might kill the fishing eco here, but does that matter? The pond is almost out of fish. I think LaaaaN was able to have the fish available when he actually needed it, and it seems like Villese is actually trying to buy himself up as well, tries to put another angle to pressure this wood line, and that might actually succeed, but LaaaaN now has this tower, so LaaaaN could actually go for the wood over here. I don't think that Villese is going to be able to deny this one, and even more importantly, that's a mistake from LaaaaN in my perspective. He shouldn't have shown the archers here, because now Villese knows that the archers are coming. He should have waited until crossbows, because crossbows get through walls much easier. In fact, I would dare to say that he might have even needed to wait until there's a siege workshop here, so you can actually do like one big push. It's better to be patient and do one big push and destroy your opponent with it than, you know, kind of show a weak army and then allow Villese to start adding knights. And remember, Persian knights deal extra damage against archers, so that should be an easy cleanup for Villese if he actually gets a couple of knights in here. And he's not that much behind in terms of Castle Age timing, so I feel like this shouldn't have been shown here by LaaaaN just yet. He's gonna be faster to Castle Age, and we also see scale barding, so we'll probably get a couple of knights and later on camos as well in here. Boso on the way for LaaaaN, who immediately drops a TC over here. He wants to get that TC up for himself. He's also floating a lot of stone, and in a situation like this, I feel like, especially if he has the numbers advantage, he could even gamble on the forward castle, but if not, a defensive castle here would be nice, and he could get to early Mango Die quite nicely. No crossbow upgrade from LaaaaN. Once again, this is something that we have seen in the game number 1 as well, as Villese is also up himself. So it's going to be double stable knights from our Finnish player in this one. His farming eco isn't looking very amazing, and his opponent still has the fishing eco alive, so I really am unsure what these fire galleys achieved for Villese here. Now there is a forward watcher over here that could actually still get a siege workshop up, and that could be pretty devastating against the base of LaaaaN. LaaaaN goes for camos, knights, monastery on the way as well for him. First knights coming in to deal with the archers. It looks like LaaaaN is actually going to start mixing in cav archers, surprisingly. So the knights coming out to pick off the Voyagers left and right, as there is going to be 2 TCs for LaaaaN. Villese is playing on 1 as he's 8 Voyagers behind. Tries to save the Voyagers to the left. And behind this one, as I said, LaaaaN is actually working towards his first castle. He's going to be on 3 TCs. And I feel like the window for Persians is closing, because once there is castles up for the Mongols player, Mango Die will be inevitably coming, and that's not something that the Persians can actually match up well against, especially late game. So I feel like soon Villese has to start making things happen, otherwise he will just fall into the same problem as in many other games we have seen, not necessarily against the Mongols, but overall Lithuanians in this game, or in this map. So the deal is that in this map, if your Castle Age push stalls out, then your opponent is going to be able to boom up into Imperial and just overrun you. So this is definitely one of those maps where late Castle Age aggression isn't really a thing. It's either early to mid Castle Age aggression or early Imperial. And I feel like here it has to be a Castle Age aggression from the Persian player, otherwise he will just get outboomed. Here, it seems like these fire guys are really not doing nothing here. For Villese, he does have a forward workshop attempted over here, but that's gonna be denied as well. And it seems like Villese is slowing down here a little bit. His first 2 games were very convincing, but LaaaaN stepped up the pace, and now, partially from a civilization advantage, but partially from just using his civilizations well, both the Mongols and the Italians, I feel like LaaaaN is actually slowly taking over. He's defending with the camos over here. He should be fighting this one, otherwise his archers will die very easily. Trying to get a conversion on a knight, and he's unlucky. No conversion coming in, but there is almost a castle already for LaaaaN. And that means that we're slowly getting to Mango Die. There was actually forging mixed in for LaaaaN, so he probably wants to mix in a couple more camos before that. Also worth noting that we have a bunch of houses here. This could translate into forward stables later on. And those forward stables could actually supply the front line with a lot of light cavalry, potentially raiding the eco of Villese. Villese is playing 1 TC here, his opponent is on free, so now it is a 16 villagers lead in the favor of LaaaaN, who also has bow, so something that Villese does not have, and now Villese takes a rather disadvantageous fight over here, if you ask me. His knights are slowly getting clapped, the monk is gonna get picked off as well, and many of those knights are very, very weak, and this is a perfect scenario for LaaaaN. All he needs is just castles, and we'll see where that first castle is gonna go up. I would think you drop it somewhere around over here. Potentially over here would be a good spot, because you would control this gold mine over here with it. So that would definitely be something that you consider. So first castle on the way for LaaaaN. And I feel like Persians, as I said, are on a timer in this game. And the timer is slowly running out. Now Ram from LaaaaN. I don't think that he needs a Ram necessarily, but it's probably good that he can clean up the market, he can clean up the range, he can clean up this tower, and more importantly this tower. Because this tower might actually be denying this gold mine, which is something that LaaaaN is gonna need in the future. But we're getting closer and closer to a 2-2 setup over here. Because as things stand, LaaaaN is using the civilizations he has very, very well. And he's massively outbooming his opponent now. It's 21 villagers lead. And soon, the cow archers will start moving in as well. 2 conversions could actually occur. Camels. There was none. LaaaaN is very, very unlucky with the conversion RNG. He was super unlucky in the previous one. He's unlucky now as well. And here's the deal. If Persians have one chance over Mongols here right now, it's overrunning them with cavalry before the Mongols are able to get to Mangadai. If we get to something like 10-15 Mangadai here, this game is probably over for a Persian player, especially considering that Villese has just added TC number 2 and 3, so he's still behind by 20 villagers. Tower slowly taking down the knights, but the siege trap is gonna go down. Mangadai is slowly coming out, but these Mangadai are kind of under-upgraded. They do have bloodlines just now coming in. Relics are in for LaaaaN, by the way. He collected 3 relics, so he's really playing for a long game here very, very nicely. And he's waiting for potentially some more upgrades on his camels, or just Mangadai numbers as it is. Monk might actually get picked off, but nope, that's not gonna happen either. And this is... Look at this cute little village here on the left. A mill, a couple of houses. If there was, I don't know, an Age of Empires photo shoot contest, I would submit this as nice and little village. This is so cute. Anyways, there's the second castle coming in here for LaaaaN, as now those camels have +1/+1. Camels from Villese only have +1 defense, so the quality of LaaaaN's camels are better, but it's 10 against... It's even more camels. The knight numbers are what is different, so really overall military numbers are better for Villese because there is so many knights on the field. But second castle is in. Look at the resources for LaaaaN. He's about to go into Imperial. His opponent will try going up as well, but the thing is that you can only hope that your Cavalier early on will overrun the Mangadai. And one thing that Persians could have an advantage from here, though, is that Mangadai is a serious production bottleneck. You have 2 castles producing Mangadai. What you can hope for is that 5 stable Cavalier, for example, supported by Trebs, might be enough to overrun the Mangadai. And here's a forward castle attempted by Villese. He will probably try to trap down these castles, and as I said, try to flood Cavalier and simultaneously trap down the castles. He's only behind by 8 villagers, and he's waiting for Imperial Age. Indeed, that's gonna be Cavalier. And don't underestimate the Cavalier, they actually do a lot of damage against Mangadai, and it's much easier to get fully upgraded Cavalier than it is to get fully upgraded Mangadai. So, still a lot of upgrades are missing from those guys. I think they're missing Thumb Ring, they're missing Ballistics, definitely. Missing Archer Armor, they will need Bracer, they will need Chemistry. Whereas those Cavalier will probably be +2/+2 by the time Villese reaches Imperial, although Villese is a very, very disappointing gold income. 13 on gold isn't gonna be enough to, you know, flood Cavalier, and you actually need to overrun your opponent with Cavalier numbers. Because if it's just a couple of Cavaliers trickling in, the Mangadai will just out-macro you. You actually have to be able to overrun your opponent over here. The tower here is still up. I'm not sure if it's actually able to range the gold mine, but it might be able to. As Villese is actually getting closer to getting another castle up. Mangudai actually launching a counterattack will try to hit this part of Villase's eco, who has just caught up in terms of voyager numbers. Imperial Age is in for Villese a couple of seconds faster. That's gonna be probably Plate Barding first, followed by Cavalier. But the thing is that this counterattack is timed very, very well from LaaaaaaN, because Villese has to fight this one, and that's a very, very fast Elite Mangudai. Elite Mangudai above all. Interesting decision, but camos have been cleaned up here by Villese. Cavalier on the way. The problem that Villese is facing, I believe, is that he won't be able to fight against that many Mangudai, even though I somewhat disapprove the fact that these guys don't have Bracer, but they will have Elite. Like, Bracer should be coming in now. Is there even a Blacksmith right now standing? There is. University just coming in for Ballistics. So, you can say that LaaaaaaN wasn't necessarily prepared to make a full tech switch into Mangudai here. Still, one thing that you have to consider is that you need the castles to produce Mangudai. The key to win right now for LaaaaaaN or for the Villese is to destroy those castles. If those castles stay up, this is game over in the favor of LaaaaaaN. The problem that Villese is going to be facing is that that army of Mangudai is just so good at everything. You have let Mongols boom into Mangudai, and that basically means that it is close to a game over. Because Mongol Mangudai would just destroy everything that you can have. Like, you could try Elite Skirms with Persians here, but they don't have Bracer, and we could see Siege Ram, we could see Light Cav coming in from the Mongol player pretty fast over here as well. Consistent Mangudai production is key here for LaaaaaaN, who is getting Ballistics and Thumbring just now in. And also have to keep in mind that Villese doesn't really have an amazing map control, as that is gonna be Cavalier for him. Sets up the first trap very soon, but as I said, Mangudai are so good at sniping traps, and Mangudai could also be very, very useful as a mobile raiding unit over here, kind of just trying to pin your opponent inside his base. A couple of Voyagers could be killed, and that's exactly the type of raiding that LaaaaaaN wants. And I have to say that LaaaaaaN, compared to the first two games, he stepped up his gameplay quite considerably, and now I would say that he's massively in the lead. Villese is selling a lot of stone over here, trying to get some traps up to trap these castles down, but by the time those traps actually start moving up, there is going to be enough Mangudai to just go in and snipe them, and there's already 30 Mangudai on the field. Against, what is that, 25 Cavalier, but yeah, even if the Cavalier do extra damage against the Mangudai, the problem is just out-microing them. And you see what's gonna happen. LaaaaaaN dives in, picks off the traps with the Mangudai. Not going to be very, very cost-efficient for him, but he saves the castle, and that's all what that matters. 2 traps, make it free. He's going to lose quite a lot of Mangudai here. In fact, he lost a lot of Mangudai, so that wasn't definitely ideal for him, but he saved the castle for a long time, and remember that while this was happening, he also has the Mangudai over here. So it's one thing that he actually took a rather disadvantageous fight over here to snipe the traps. You also have to keep in mind that he's got Mangudai over here inside the opponent's eco. He already has a pretty convincing Voyage lead. Now tries to take this choke point, beautiful choke point over there for LaaaaaaN. And just look at the camels, then look at the Cavalier dying. And there is just no potential right now for Villese to ever contest these castles. There's already Light Cav addition coming in here from LaaaaaaN. I think LaaaaaaN has firm control over this game here, and he's not gonna let it slip out of his grasp. So LaaaaaaN, compared to the first two games, also seems to step his game up quite heavily, and he's not ready to go down just yet. And now Villese should start thinking about, hey, this was my first home map, and I've just lost it, and it's an even series. So it's 9-9 Voyagers right now for Villese, who's gonna try getting another trap out, but it is 36 Elite Mangudai, and soon here come the Light Cav Flood, and the Light Cav Flood will just absolutely overrun your eco. Vilese's Gold Eco, more importantly the Food Eco, is getting crippled by all these Mangudai raiding. Party and Tactics just in for Villese, as he's going to take a decent engagement here. You can always jump back into the castle with those Mangudai to protect them from the cavalry. So you see Villese is already making light cavalry here. He probably is slowly running out of gold here as his gold mines are getting raided. Mangudai is still running around. They might actually find a couple more Voyager kills before they go down. And now, as I said, LaaaaaaN is just waiting for the flood of light cavalry. He's a little bit low on food for that, but he's already preparing for that. That's a castle drop in the face of Villese, and the next wave of Mangudai is already trying to hit the eco of LaaaaaaN here. LaaaaaaN actually doesn't know about that TC, so that's not intentional, it's just an accidental one. But he's teching into heavy camo too to battle the Cavalier, And once again, the Furik of Villese is gonna be absolutely torn apart. He's just unable to go up beyond the 100 villagers. 129 population as 170. And this castle might even go down up because Villese is just so distracted with this fight. He's gonna have the traps on the field, but now LaaaaN is moving up to start shelling that, and it seems like it's not actually going to be light cav, it's gonna be heavy camo for an anti-cavalry play. Now this is a dangerous move here from LaaaaN, as his opponent deletes the monastery. It might have been a bad decision to commit all your Mangudai into this counterattack, that's for sure. That being said, still, Villase's eco is under heavy pressure, and Villese just taps out because there is still Mangudai in his base, but more importantly, I feel like he sees that this castle is probably gonna go up, he sees that this castle is probably gonna go down, and LaaaaN with the comeback. 2-2. Now, that is not necessarily something I expected, and I said that LaaaaN has to play his best to be able to match up against Villese, and in the last 2 games he played his best, and now we have a completely even series over here. The winner goes into the main event, the loser is out, and we are gonna have Persians gone for Villese over here, and Mongols for LaaaaN. So Villase's remaining home maps are Gold Rush and Hideout, but before we actually get in there, I'm going to ask for a half a minute of a break, and then we'll continue with the next game. Okay, so let's see if we have game number 5 recorded games yet. Nope. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit until Robo is that what did I want to say? I'm starting to forgetting my words. So it has been 6 hours of streaming today, so I haven't even felt it was like 6 hours. That's actually so weird that these games are so long individually, but you're not even noticing, because it was just, we're in the middle of the second set today, and it was 6 hours already. Imagine that you're gonna have 3 sets tomorrow and on Sunday. So really, this is gonna be a very exhausting weekend once again. I'm not even sure how I'm going to be able to go through that. So really, good games make time fly crazy. I think it's not necessarily like, yeah, there are good games. There is very good games. That's totally true. I think that the main thing though is that the main thing is that many of these maps actually drag out to late game inevitably, so to say. So, For example, islands or so is something that is usually going into an Imperial Age scenario. Bay is also one of these. So just like in Red Bull, the series are usually faster because the maps are more open, more aggressive or so. Many of these maps are actually more of, you know, the late game post-Imperial type of games, including, but not limited to Bay, for example. Anyways, it seems like we're going into Gold Rush, if I'm not mistaken. And we will have Villese playing as Aztecs in blue to the north. Or no, it's not going to be the north. I assume that it's going to be the north because Villese was on the south, but to the left it's going to be LaaaaN playing as Slavs in red. So Slavs versus Aztecs is the name of the game, and we are gonna have a rather unfortunate base spawn for LaaaaN over here if you take a look at this. Both of his gold mines are absolutely wide open. The stone at the back is nice and it is a relatively vulnerable base, but the bear is on the front, the double golds on the front. This is a disaster base for LaaaaN. Whereas on the other side, for Villese, this gold is actually quite bad, but this is a defendable gold, so is this stone well defendable. So does he have a restart? I think he does. However, we're casting recorded games, and that means that we don't know if there was actually a restart before. If this was live games completely, then yes, he would probably use his restart here, because these golds are so bad that you kind of have to call your restart here. However, reality is that we're casting recorded games, and because of that, we are... we're just not gonna have or the information whether or not he was able to go for a restart. He might have used up earlier, we don't know that exactly. Oftentimes, restarts that were called are not included in the recorded games, so we don't know if there was an actual restart here. That being said, if this game ends before 4 minutes, you will know why it ended, because that's gonna be a restart from LaaaaN then, if that is the case. What do we have? Big lags? Is this the Capture H memory leak issue? Nope. Just recorded game feels like he wants to lag a little bit. So, Villese is playing Aztecs here, a civilization that often just gets banned in the series, so we're not seeing it very frequently in this one. But the idea is that this could be a very good civilization, is in going for potentially a triple barracks eagles into a siege push. That's probably the name of the game for him. We'll see what LaaaaN is up to. LaaaaN could definitely be playing scouts. In fact, he's got 3 on wood as well. And we will have Old Deer pushed in for LaaaaN. We will see if he wants to just go feudal boom into Castle Age, but I have a feeling that it would be a scouts opening, and I massively disapprove scouts opening on this map. I just feel like this map is vulnerable enough to prevent any kind of scouts opening from being viable, and I expect Villese to be walling himself up. I feel like this is more like a Drush FC or borderline Naked FC type of a map. Maybe Men-at-Arms Towers could be something to consider, and it looks like we're going to see Men-at-Arms... Oh, no, this is a Drush. This is a Premier Drush, what am I talking about? I'm also getting tired here, I apologize. My brain is just an absolute sponge. I just finished casting round of 32 games yesterday. So even yesterday I spent like 4 hours off stream casting. So I could really use like, I don't know, 24 hours of sleep. So it seems like my brain is also a little bit dysfunctional currently. So let's try to focus. Villese is going for what's going to be a Premier Drush. His opponent, as I said, it seems like this wants to be just a naked fast castle, but he started with 3 on wood, now has 4. And we will have the second board just now in. Now, if this wants to be a naked fast castle, you would be dropping farms by now. So I'm really unsure what LaaaaN is planning, but he's got way too many villagers queued up for a fast castle, but that first farm actually tells me that this is going to be a fast castle from LaaaaN here. I like that more than the scouts build. So that is something that I can justify a lot more. What I do not like is that if you go for a fast castle, you might as well start walling yourself. And the other problem that I'm facing here is that you're going for a fast castle with this gold and this gold. That kind of feels like a suicide to me, to be honest. Because if Villese sees that, he might convert his build into a Man-at-Arms Towers build. And in fact, that's exactly what Villese should be doing. Villese should actually get Man-at-Arms Towers, although the two gold mines are pretty far apart, so there could be a chance that LaaaaN is able to sneak out to the other one, as that LaaaaN is with Loom, but still eating a lot of damage on that Vulture, as Villese is trying to chase it down. Villese eats a lot of damage on the Militias, though, and that Rush is pretty much dead here. Like, one militia dead, other one very, very weak. This one is still full HP, trying to isolate one Vulture over here. You kind of have to fight that, I believe, with two Vultures. And eventually, LaaaaN is going to survive. So he's under a bit of a pressure. And as bad as an idea it would be to go for scouts on this map, I think it's even worse when you go for naked fast castle without walls. Like, this is a true, genuine naked fast castle here. 24 Vultures, and not even going for walls. Oh man, that's just so bad of an idea. So, with that, Militia gets poked down. And on the other side, we have a lady that was thinking about something, but then changes his mind. Look at this wall. Look at how Villese is accessing his deer. He's afraid of an aggressive play here from his opponent, maybe a Drush, maybe scouts. So he actually walls in the zebra before taking it. That's so cute. Anyways, LaaaaN is actually gonna go for some big walls over here. Don't tell me that he's gonna wall all the way through this one. Both of these players are going for fast castle, that's correct. On this map, I feel like this is a fast castle map. And I think it has to be knights. It has to be knights for LaaaaN. The problem that he's facing is that he's up against Eagles and Monks. It's almost guaranteed triple barracks Eagles into Monks. And the problem is that you can't just open light cav against the Monks because you will get overrun by Eagles. So this is going to be a really tricky one for LaaaaN to hold. I think, especially considering how much he's getting delayed here by Villese. Villese is going up to castle pretty soon over here. He's probably going to go 29 or 30 pop. Drush FC here. And then it's going to be triple barracks Eagles into probably Monastery over here and the Siege Workshop. That's the plan. There is the barracks coming in here for LaaaaN, who wants to age with a stable blacksmith. That barracks is actually late. This is a late barracks for a stable blacksmith build, because you see that Feudal Age is going to kick in before the barracks would finish. So you won't be able to start making the stable right away. And indeed, the barracks is a little too late for LaaaaN, and that is going to delay his Castle Age click up. He might have to go for +3 Vultures over here instead of +2. And his opponent is probably going to be upping with, could be range and market, but I feel like you don't get much from your archers on this map where your opponent is just fast castling it to knights. So I feel like it should be just market blacksmith, and then while you're going up, you're actually going to make 2 more barracks and go for the Aztec Eagle Flood. Something that could work so well. We'll see if Villese actually tries to lay the stable, but for now he is not going for that. He just sees the stable, and you see that LaaaaN had to go for more Vultures than he wanted to because of that stable being delayed. Castle Age on the way for him. That's still a quite nice timing compared to his opponent. This was something like 25 +4 or 26 +3 or so. Whereas on the other side we have what is a 29 +2 here, because Villese didn't really push in the deer at the beginning. That's a market and a blacksmith. So it is indeed going to be a triple barracks Eagle play. As it looks like we're gonna have a scout out for LaaaaN. I actually like this. He's trying to intercept the Eagle of his opponent here. He seems like he still has his scout alive from Dark Age, but that's a very low HP scout, so that's not going to do much. But what this could be useful for is potentially intercepting a forward Vulture, if that would be the case. There's probably going to be an Eagle play, as you see from Villese here, is already queuing up Eagles. But this could also be a Pike and Siege play, or a Monk and Siege play immediately. And in that case, having a couple of scouts out to intercept Monks could be very good, or potentially forward Vultures as well. And barracks number 2 and barracks number 3 will be right next to it, most likely. So, with that being said, LaaaaN is gonna be having the power of the Slavic farming. Villese is actually without double bit axe, interestingly. He is without bit axe. He does have horse color, which I don't understand, because with a fast castle, he'd already dropped the farms. So here, for a fast castle, double bit axe early on makes more sense than horse color does. Normally, like let's say for a standard scouts build, I don't mind horse color before double bit axe, for the sake of getting those more efficient farms down. But I feel like for a fast castle where you already drop your farms, you cannot prioritize double bit axe over horse color. So only double barracks right now though, so this might not be sort of an all-in push here from Villese. He wants to go for like a mixture of spearmen and eagles. And are we gonna see pike and siege after all? It could very well be the case. There's an early monastery coming in here for LaaaaN, because he knows exactly that his opponent could be trying to convert his knights, and he's gonna go for the somewhat unexpected play. I was thinking about that Slavic infantry wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea either. But the thing is that infantry is just a worse version of cavalry. Yeah, I just said that. You can quote this. Infantry is just a worse version of cavalry. Because the thing is that they will also be converted rather easily. Although you have to add the fact that Villese went for the barracks and he's going for the monastery. He also stopped making the monastery for whatever reason. And he's taking the pikemen. So he's expecting knights. Eventually, Villese will be able to start getting scorpions on the field, but this longsword play could be very, very devastating here from LaaaaN, but I think if he wants to commit to that, he needs double barracks for it. Villese will be playing 1 TC, so will his opponent, and here come the 4 Voyages. So the early monks are just as good as they are in converting knights when it comes to converting longswordsmen, and because of that, these early longswords won't do much. A couple of longswords out here won't actually do really well. And indeed, as Nerdfox is saying, the thing is that early longswords get destroyed by monks. Well, not destroyed, but it is just a much, much more decisive advantage for the monks than early knights are. Like, longswords have 0 chance of killing monks, whereas knights at least have the chance to overrun monks and catch them off guard. So the early longswords will pretty much be hard countered by the monks. The problem could be the numbers. So if you have like 10-15 swordsmen coming out as opposed to just 1 or 2 monks, that might not be sufficient. There's already a 2nd TC, 3rd TC coming up for LaaaaN, and it seems like he's preparing for a long game. He's probably expecting Castle Age push, as Villese is putting a significant effort onto potentially killing all wolves on the map. So keep in mind that LaaaaN also has scouts around, so he's looking for monks. And those monks will just have Sanctity coming in. But you see that this is the game plan for LaaaaN. He wants to go for a free TC boom and prevent himself being overrun by kind of a Castle Age all-in. And this is actually comparable to what LaaaaN played in the previous round against Brew. In the previous round, LaaaaN actually went for Berber Knight all-in, I believe. Well, not all-in, but a triple range or triple stable Berber Knights play, which is super aggressive in Castle Age. And the end result was that LaaaaN was just able to outboom him. That was basically the case. So we might see something very, very similar happening over here, that LaaaaN just wants to boom, because many players on this map actually try a very aggressive, like triple barracks Eagles play or triple stable Knights with Berbers play, and LaaaaN might just be thinking about, okay, I'm just gonna sit on my nice and comfy Slavic farming and just play defensive, and that's a lot of longswords with only 2 monks around. There is also light cavs that could actually pick up the monks. 1 light cav went down. And the thing is that Villese is gonna need to start pushing this one really hard because he's falling behind Nico. Now, he's got control over the middle. However, it's not like LaaaaN's running out of gold anytime soon. His eco is gonna be crazy strong. Now, ideally, you don't want to lose that blacksmith, especially before scale mail comes in. Interesting is the fact that he goes for scale mail. In this scenario, I think you actually go for forging, because you want killing power. You don't want defensive power, you want to actually destroy the pikemen, destroy the eagles. A +1 defense is in, and the blacksmith goes down, which might have been a bit of a bad move from LaaaaN, but now the monks will convert to longswords. As I said, monks will just be clapping longswords here. The problem is that you will just get overrun by longswords if you don't have monk numbers. And
Okay.
indeed, these monks will just get absolutely killed here. So at the end of the day, you trade 2 longswords to 2 monks. That's a satisfactory engagement for you. But the Eagles run in here, and LaaaaN wasn't paying attention. Oh my goodness. These are just Eagle scouts, but they're still pretty devastating to your eco. LaaaaN wasn't paying attention. He's losing so many villagers. He's losing so many. He's losing everything, man. His entire eco is idle. Look at that idle villager indicator. It's just rising like crazy. He's still gonna have the villager lead, but oh my goodness. He was focused so much on fighting this that he just completely forgot about the Eagles running straight into his eco. What a sloppy play. And when you're up against a fast-moving unit like that, you either stonewall yourself or you reinforce these walls with houses. That was a so bad mistake from LaaaaN. Now he tries to trap that army in there, will be successful at that, and he can be lucky that that wasn't more Eagles. If that was 20 Eagles instead of the 10, and with Eagle Warrior and +2 defense, this would be way more losses for LaaaaN. That being said, we're gonna have longswords pushing in here, and if we have been talking about good monks for Aztecs, we have to mention that Slavic monks are very underrated as well. There is Redemption indeed coming in for them, although you want to have Sanctity first. I think Sanctity is a priority over Redemption, because you want to make sure that your monks survive as long as possible, as longswords will now dive in, get a couple of conversions, but right now it looks like LaaaaN is just focusing down the siege weapons, and LaaaaN is starting to be on fire here, because the thing is that he's actually pushing the middle here, but we also have to consider that behind this one he's booming. He's booming like a madman. And the thing is that now he's getting more barracks up. He's actually going to secure the ridge for himself. Soon he needs to start mining stone, and indeed he's going for it. And when he starts mining stone, he's actually going to think about the castle. Now that's a lot of monks now. Atonement on the way for Villese, and remember that those monks will be pretty devastating now that they have they already have Fervor, they have Sanctity, and now they will have Atonement, so 60 HP. I think there will be a need for Light Cap for Lando here. Redemption on the way as well. And the thing is that LaaaaN has Redemption on his monks, but no Atonement. And that Siege Workshop seems like it's actually going down. This could still be good for Villese, because I feel like LaaaaN is under-investing into Light Cav right now. If he had 5 Light Cav, he would absolutely massacre those monks. But we will see if that's actually going to happen, because now it's Redemption monks, and do you know what Villese is gonna do if you don't fight this? He will convert your Siege Workshop. Indeed, look at that. He stops attacking. He wants that Siege Workshop, he wants that Barracks. And LaaaaN is gonna have to delete those. Yeah, indeed. So much for that investment for LaaaaN. He tries counterattacking, but last time I checked, raiding with longswords is not necessarily something that you want to do. Arson. He wants to dive in with all his longswords. He goes for a monastery. He goes for a monastery snipe here. He wants to destroy that monastery so that his opponent isn't able to bring in some more monks. Oh, that's a genius idea, to be honest. I love it. Obviously, his opponent could just rebuild the monastery, but just the general concept of trying to dive in with your longswords to snipe a monastery is just beautiful. And now he's stacking into Light Cav, but here come the monks already, and stable deleted, barracks deleted, and oh, LaaaaN has to delete buildings so fast here. Oh man. Oh man, there is a siege workshop up, and there is now more Light Cav on the way. So this is dangerous for Villese, who is going into Imperial. Villese is going into Imp. What are we even witnessing here? And now it is the big Vululu war, as the longswords will fall on top of the monks, and it is going to end up monks getting converted as well. I hate Arena so much. It's just like I converted one monk, I converted back, right? This is what MPL would say about Arena, and here we are, 2021 Gold Rush, and we're seeing monks converting each other. I actually need to install the MBL Vululu mod for this one. And now there is a random longsword bashing down villagers here, and Siege Workshop here from LaaaaN has also been converted because he was too busy microing his units. He's down to 8 military. There is Light Cavs coming out, sure, but LaaaaN is nowhere close to Imperial. LaaaaN is nowhere close to Imperial. And what is he gonna do even? Like, he could actually clean this up. He lost the barracks over here as well to conversions, so there was at least 2 buildings converted here by LaaaaN, while Villese wasn't paying Villese, while LaaaaN wasn't paying attention. And now I think Villese just needs to go for Eagle Flood. Imperial Age Eagles should be more than decent here. Against the longswords, Jaguar warriors could also be an idea. So that could be cool too. And Imperial now on the way for land though, and remember that land's eco is much better, but gold control in the middle could be a problem. But here's the deal. It's not like Villese is an enormous army. Villese has 6 pikemen, 5 monks, 3 militia, 2 eagle scouts, and 2 scorpions. It looks like an army from a campaign, to be honest. Now you have to be careful because here come the monks to convert more buildings. Land will definitely have to go for more light cav to try and snipe down those monks. Now it is illumination and theocracy coming in here as well, so Villese is going for full clown mode. Gets another castle up over here, which would deny a lot of gold accessible for LaaaaN. I don't think that LaaaaN can actually stop that castle by any means, so I'm not even sure if he sees it. Now he should be seeing it, right? Yeah, LaaaaN sees that castle, but he's not gonna be able to stop it, and there's already traps coming out for Villese, and these light cavs aren't doing much here. This is tricky because if this was Arabia, I would say that LaaaaN is still ahead, but this is not Arabia. Because there is actual stables being converted by monks, by the way, so we could see a couple of Xolotl warriors even mixed in. But this map is definitely a map where you just have to think about the fact that if one player gets off from gold, it's probably over. So it is not just about villager numbers, military numbers, it's about position on the map. And that is much better for Villese. So the Aztec monk play actually starts to materialize over here, and LaaaaN isn't really having a lot here. In fact, he's nothing over here for himself. He's going to try and tech into what could be Družina Swordsman. He's going to lose one of his castles over here, but he's going to have to delete this castle very soon. Soon eagles will be running through the map, and it is gonna be, as I said, Družina Swordsman. It kind of has to be. Now you have to consider that LaaaaN still has a massive eco lead over his opponent as he's trying to counter-trap this. No ram push coming in here though, but he gets into Vilese's eco, gets a couple of villager kills. Overall 8 villagers killed on both sides, but Vilese's army value is like 3 times larger than his opponent's army value in this one, and LaaaaN will try to repair this castle here, but look at this. The problem is that LaaaaN is going nowhere. LaaaaN is trying to make light cav here, but he's losing the castle over here. No units being produced on the barracks. He actually has a lumber camp over here, and he's going to make a siege workshop to launch an assault against the opponent's base, and now mobility is on the side of LaaaaN here, so Villese has to be careful not to get raided to death here, and the light cav could actually try to dive in and snipe the trebuchets. There is pikemen on the field for Villese, but LaaaaN is repairing that castle for now, and I think LaaaaN might try taking the other castle down here, because he might think that there is no repair villagers for it, or he wants to launch an all-out counterattack against the opponent's base. LaaaaN wants to play this one with full trash and no gold. He's just trying to keep this one up, and instead of fighting for the middle, I've mentioned this many times in this one, Gold Rush is a balance between holding the middle and holding your initial base, and I feel like we are starting to see LaaaaN gambling on just flooding the opponent's base with swordsmen and trebuchet, and that could be crazy. If you can kill the Foodie and the Rudico of Villese, that could be just as good as taking away the gold for him. LaaaaN is consuming an awful lot of stone repairing that castle, and I would still love to see him at least trying to counter-trap this castle. This castle is gonna go down now for Lando. He's up against 4 trebs, and the problem that he's facing is that his stables here will also go down. But here's the counterattack. And that's a lot of long swords, 200 swordsmen, plate mail on the way as well. And there's only pikemen for Villese. This game is so messy, man. Vilese's army is still twice as big as the opponent's army, but I think that the problem LaaaaN is going to be having is that he's got no production back at home that's actually capable of stopping this, and here come the monks. Here come the monks. Let's see if Villese is actually going to make the memes happen and will bring us a Xolotl warrior. I would love to see that. I would love to see a single Xolotl warrior. There is 1 stable getting converted, make it 2, make it 3, I believe, very soon. And here's the big counterattack, and look at Vilese's base. Look at Vilese's base. It's gone. It's actually gone. Villese is going full all-in in the middle because that's where he's got the castles at. No Xolotl warriors right now, and oh man, the problem that LaaaaN is facing now is that, I mean, he's locked away from his own base, and he's unable to defend it. And we have monks coming in to snipe down the swordsmen, and Jaguar warriors, the unit that Villese needs. It's not a meme. Jaguar warrior actually helps here quite a bit, and we're actually getting close to a base trade here. Because look at this. LaaaaN is actually destroying Vilese's base. Villese is destroying LaaAAN's base, and I think Villese knows. Villese is just going to colonize this one. He will build TCs here. He will build TCs here. As LaaAAN is running out of juice here. Villese at 75 villagers, LaaAAN at 150. As LaaAAN is trying to now trap that castle down over there, repairing that only trap that he has left. Villese now coming in for this wood line. Holy smokes, what is this game? What is this game? Funnily enough, the army numbers are still close, and honestly, Villese is 140 in population. His opponent is 178. The TC is being trapped down over here. What an absolute mess. Oh man, champions are out now. Jaguars as a response, but more traps are coming in here from LaaAAN as he's trying to take that castle down in the middle. Those swordsmen do have arson as well, so they will melt that castle really soon. And behind this one, LaaAAN is still repairing the TC. What is this game, man? LaaAAN is not giving up. And honestly, I think that castle is going down, which means LaaAAN is gonna have gold. And LaaAAN could actually take the hill here in the middle. His opponent's base is a ruin, and the thing is that LaaAAN at least has some wood and food eco that's reliable. LaaAAN is winning this, guys. LaaAAN is actually winning this, because LaaAAN didn't lose his entire food and wood eco. His opponent did. Villese has 3 on food right now, loses the castle in the middle. What a comeback from LaaAAN! What a comeback from LaaAAN! Holy smokes! I've seen some crazy games in this tournament, that's for sure. But when I was just looking at the lineup of players, I said if there is one Finnish player that's gonna make chaotic games, that's gonna be Rubenstock, and not Villese. Holy smokes! By the way, the stables are still up, but we're not seeing Xolotl warriors. I'm getting disappointed about that. There is no castle for LaaAAN, which means that if he loses his traps, that's going to be the end of this push here. But the traps are going down from his opponent, and he's just spamming swordsman after swordsman. Villese is out of stone. Villese calls the GG! What a comeback from LaaAAN! I have doubted. I'm going to admit, I was a doubter. I was an absolute doubter. I was like, longsword push against the opponent's starting base. It's not really going to be a great idea, but it worked out. It doesn't have to look great, it has to work well. And LaaAAN is actually very close to qualifying for the main event. What a heartbreaker it would be for Villese after sort of dominating the first 2 games. Now LaaAAN is actually launching a comeback. And it is now really close to a comeback. 3 games in a row for LaaAAN, and Villese is actually very close to being eliminated from the Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. And that would mean that LaaAAN gets into the main event. I don't know if Villese will actually have to check it out as we go back into the lobby. So I don't really know. I'll have to check if Villese has missed a single Hidden Cup. I think... let me check out Wikipedia while we have a couple of moments over here. I haven't updated the score, but now it's 3-2 for LaaAAN. And Villese is... let's see, Villese Hidden Cup. Hidden Cup 3, he lost to Mr. Yo in the first round, but was in the round of 16. No, Villese didn't miss Hidden Cup, the previous one. He lost to Mr. Yo in the first round. Hidden Cup 2, he also lost to the first round. That time to Gao. The only one that he missed was Hidden Cup 1. Whereas for LaaAAN, who, as I said, if he plays his maximum, he's a top 10 player. He actually lost 3-2 against Hera in Hidden Cup 3 in the first round, and that was a very, very strong Hera that marched until the finals, I believe, in that event. But LaaAAN has had so inconsistent performances. So, really, I think he didn't even qualify for Red Bull, for example, or so. And LaaAAN was in Hidden Cup 3, lost in the first round to Hera. It was actually a 3-1 loss, but it was a pretty close series. I remember that. It was an amazing series. Hidden Cup 2, LaaAAN lost in the qualifier. He lost to Dogao. Hidden Cup 2, there was no LaaAAN in the tournament. Neither was in Hidden Cup 1. So really, LaaaaN has been having some consistency issues, but you see that if he's playing well, he's playing really well. He's a top 10 player when he plays his peak, and outside of top 16 when he plays a weaker day. But apparently he's having a stronger day right now. And Villese, who was sort of the surprise player of the recent months, he has been having some insanely good tournament performances. Now seems to be very close to getting eliminated from the tournament here. Slavs are gone for LaaaaN and Aztecs are gone for Villese, and which means that we're going to what's going to be the final home map of Villese. And Villese has won Arabia, he has won Islands, oh no, he has won Slopes, but after that he has been losing his own home maps, and it is going to be Hideout. And on Hideout, we're probably going to see Britons versus Goths. It has to be Goths here. It has to be Goths. And you're going to leave Cross with the Byzantines. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, let's see if we have a recorded game. Yes, we do. So we will jump in there and we will see if LaaaaN can close this out. As I said, he was leading 2-0 against Brew, who was a lower seeded player, a decent Brazilian player, but he was definitely lower seeded. And we're gonna have did they select the right map? Because the Japanese Berbers matchup kind of feels like we wanted to go to Cross. Japanese from Villese, like, these civs don't make any sense. The only reason why you would actually see these civilizations is because it may be mind games. Maybe Villese wanted to make his opponent think. Just think about it. Maybe Villese wanted LaaaaN to think that he's going for Britons, so that LaaaaN is going for Goths, and this is why he's going for Japanese, which are pretty much hard countering Goths. But on the other side, LaaaaN also knew that Villese wants to play something else than Britons to force him to play Goths, and he plays something else. And that is going to be Berbers. So two very, very unconventional civilizations for this map, I'm fairly certain. Nerfox could probably confirm with the statistics, but I have seen every single qualifier in Hidden Cup 4 so far. I don't think we have seen a single Japanese on Hideout. I think we may have seen Berbers sort of trying to counterpick Spanish, but I'm not 100% sure. This might be the first time we're seeing either of these civilizations on Hideout. And as I said in a previous round, LaaaaN has been up 2 games against Brew, but almost lost it. Indeed, as Nerfox is saying, first ever time in this tournament where either of these civilizations are played on Hideout. So the thing is that LaaaaN is leading 1 game right now against Villese, but as I said, LaaaaN almost lost to Brew in the previous round, who is a much weaker player than Villese is. So you see the consistency over there, but you also see that every set is different, and you have to clean your head after a set. LaaaaN probably had to do that as well. Said, okay, that wasn't perfect, but I need to prepare for Villese, and he did. He definitely did. That being said, this is far from over. So let's talk about the civilizations in this one. Berbers versus Japanese. So, on a first glance, I think that the Japanese is sort of the slower powerhouse civilization of this game. Kataparuto, Trebs, Arbalasts, Halberdiers, Rams could be very devastating. On the other side, Berbers feel a little bit more versatile, and they could do so many things, especially early to mid game is where Berbers, I think, is something that could be very interesting. I could see LaaaaN going for a triple stable knights build here. Do you know why? Because triple stable knights could be something that Villese is unprepared for here. And at the end of the day, if you go for triple stable knights, you might actually catch Villese off guard here and just overrun him with knights. These palisade walls don't hold off much. Alternative is that you're seeing a fast castle into camel archers right away. We might see aggressive plays from either side, but I actually like the Berbers a little bit better than Japanese in this scenario. So, yeah, Now comes the most interesting part of the tournament, and that is Dark Age or Hideout. You will be witnessing deer being pushed in through gates. And that is going to be the case for both players, and we're probably gonna see fast castles. Only 3 on wood for our Japanese player, but it doesn't really matter because he's got cheaper lumber camps, so that's why he's only doing that. 2 farms coming in early for Villese, that's a clear fast castle. Japanese bonuses do shine, as you see over here. There is already 2 lumber camps dropped, and you actually spend 1 less villager on wood. You can drop the farms faster. Obviously, it's not an amazing bonus, but it actually gives you a nice little advantage, though you are totally right about the fact that the majority of the Japanese bonuses, like the fishing ship HP, faster working fishing ships, or potentially strong man-at-arms opening, neither of these are going to be very, very useful on this map. So, with that, we have a double wood lines as well for LaaaaN. No surprise about that. That's actually not a great farm placement, but not really going to be a thing here. Japanese isn't bad. Yeah, man-at-arms towers could be a thing, and it looks like we're gonna have that. Interesting. So Villese goes aggro here. I am not so sure if this was the original plan, or is this... No, this can be an FC. What I don't understand is why he's actually farming when he still has so many sheep. I don't understand a lot of things here for Villese. He dropped farms as if this was a fast castle build. And this is not a bait. It's not like he wants his opponent to see that those farms are there and make him believe that it's a fast castle. But this is not a fast castle. I think he's turning this into like a feudal age then boom type of a scenario. Behind this one, we'll have LaaaaN going for what is a standard 25 plus 2 fast castle without loom. That's a little bit ambitious, because if your opponent would actually go for an aggressive man-at-arms play, you could be in trouble. So I feel like against Japanese, you kind of have to go for loom while going up. So man-at-arms or barracks is coming in right now for Villese, but other than that, what is the idea? Like, this barracks is already late for a man-at-arms play. It's a blacksmith. Is it a ranged blacksmith? Don't tell me that he tries to do a 21 plus 2 fast castle. That should be impossible here. I think he's trying to do that. Or it wants to be something like 21 plus 3. The 21 plus 2 seems impossible here. You don't even have the second building going up. This feels more like a 21 plus 3, 21 plus 4. I could see why he's doing it. So this is a bit of a safer play. Instead of going for 24 plus 2, for example, you reach field age a little faster, so you have more time to react if you get pushed on land. And indeed, this is going to be something like a 25 or 21 plus 4 plus loom. It's a fast castle, but he's spending more time in field age than normal and less time in Dark Age. Potentially for being able to, for example, not having to build buildings with multiple villagers, but it's also about the fact that you're probably a little bit more defended in case your opponent wants to tower rush or potentially play archers. It's going to be stable blacksmith here for LaaaaN, and I have a strong feeling that we could see a big knight push from LaaaaN in early Castle Age. So Castle Age click up happening right now for LaaaaN, and at the end of the day you see that this is actually 27-26 villagers, and the reason why is because I think LaaaaN didn't go for loom. Indeed, LaaaaN is doing 24 plus 3, I believe, either 24 plus 3 or 25 plus 2, no loom fast castle, whereas Villese went for what was 21 plus 5 loom. So he spent a lot more time in feudal age. Still, this build is actually quite clean from Villese, so not a build that we frequently see, but it actually is working out quite nicely for him. Now the real question is, what does LaaaaN know about the map? LaaaaN does see the barracks, which means that he knows that that there is going to be either a stable coming in or more likely archer range, so he knows about that. While we are taking a look at those, that's actually an ambitious move. Forward villager with no loom, as the archers are already coming out, I don't think that LaaaaN expected this one. He wanted to go for an aggressive Siege Workshop play, but Villager with no loom, and he's gonna have to fall back. He made a couple of scouts so that he can actually start controlling the map, but it seems like he wasn't expecting the archers, and I think you kind of have to. Maybe he thought that the archers will stay back home for a longer time, but it looks like that Siege Workshop is going to be placed back at home. Only one stable for LaaaaN, but he could make 1 or 2 knights and clean this up. Remember, the Japanese spearmen are actually pretty scary, so that will actually help quite immensely for LaaaaN. Or for Villese. Nice move from LaaaaN, though, intercepting one archer. And there's the Siege Workshop being placed behind. Knights on the way. Villese will be playing with a monastery, whereas on the other side, we are just gonna have a workshop. But I like the fact that he was able to just force a defensive workshop over here, because initially, LaaaaN wanted the forward Siege Workshop, and that didn't actually materialize. So, with that, LaaaaN is having his base secured over here. Both players will be playing on 1 TC. LaaaaN is bringing in Scorpions, and he might actually start pushing the base of his opponent real fast over here. But I feel like this is going to be sort of those slower escalating fights. So we might not see a lot of combat in Feudal or Castle Age. It's going to be more like a slow boom towards Imperial from both players. Going to be a little bit for poking and probing, but probably not going to be that much damage done from either side. Famous last words, I know. There's a second TC on the way for Villese, not so much for LaaaaN, but he's going to be able to afford it soon too. And it looks like we'll have a couple of monks defending over here, even though they don't have Sanctity and there's Scorpions on the field. So Scorpion Knight here could be quite devastating, as LaaaaN is going to have to disengage. He can't afford to lose a Knight to a conversion, because then the Knight is going to snipe down the Scorpion. That's a disaster for LaaaaN over there. He's lucky that he didn't lose that Scorpion, I have to say. Now the Knight is going to keep the gate open. Disaster for Villese. An absolute disaster for Villese, and I think he can be lucky that his opponent didn't commit to that one, because that would have been an absolute disaster if he just keeps the gate open and those knights actually run in. It looks like LaaaaN is going to disengage. Once again, he opens the gate again. I think he just doesn't feel like he wants to fight against that many monks. That's it. There's a knight coming out that's actually still reasonable HP and tries to snap down the Scorpion. One Scorpion goes down. The other one is going to stay alive, though. This is not really a great push from LaaaaN, but behind this one, he's actually going to be 3 TCs. Keep in mind that LaaaaN has to invest a lot into monks here, and it seems like, as I said, this is just going to be a bit of a poking and probing, not really a lot of villagers killed or so. And now it's going to be a monastery, but that's already 3 TCs, and I think eventually you start thinking about camel archers here. What can Japanese do? Like, camel archer onager could be something that LaaaaN could play for. That could be a reasonable unit comp here. So we will have 3rd TC coming in here for Villese right now. LaaaaN has a 3 villagers lead. And 3rd TC coming in on the stone as well for LaaaaN. So that's going to be early stone mining. I don't think he's sending these villagers in here to chop wood. These will be stone miners. And indeed will progress towards camel archers. So we're definitely going to play a little bit more passive. Castle Age over here from both sides. There is a decent army here for Villese, but this is just going to be all about defending. So soon, Villese will start picking up relics. I would love to see LaaaaN using this scout to just camp this relic to try and snipe down a monarch that is trying to pick up the relics. And I think LaaaaN is going for relics himself. This one is available. This one is available. All 5 relics are on the right side of the player's bases. So it should be accessible for either player. And there is a sneaky villager here for LaaaaN. Oh, look at that. It's being chased down by a wolf. But I guess the idea is we have redemption monks coming in here for Villese. It seems like he's actually starting to be obsessed with redemption. This could be dangerous for LaaaaN, because a couple of redemption monks here could easily start knocking down buildings. LaaaaN is trying to get a sneaky villager out on the right side, but probably could be just for walls. He will wall this one off, and then probably get a sneaky villager in here for future use. So In the meanwhile, we'll have Villese slowly crawling up the left side, but this is definitely one of the more passive passages, so we're just waiting for both players to boom up. It looks like we only have one villager on stone from LaaaaN, whereas his opponent is already 6 on stone, although now just moving a couple of villagers away from stone. But eventually that's going to be a castle somewhere around over here by Villese to protect the gold mine. A lot of scorpions in defense from LaaaaN, but he might not be expecting redemption from those monks, I have to say. Now, those monks do have sanctity as well, so they will withstand a lot of punishment. One scorpion gets converted, and another one gets converted. Oh, man. Disaster for LaaaaN. Disaster. So, we'll keep going with this one as Villese is preparing what seems like it's gonna be a pikeman push eventually. And I'm just, like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit bored in this game right now. Like, this game is kind of going nowhere, and the style points for LaaaaN. We haven't seen Shorotl Warriors in the previous game, but ladies and gentlemen, Janitors in a Decider series, in a competitive Age Vampires game. Janitors. PogChamp indeed. Fun fact, the Janitors will actually melt the pikemen. The crossbows would be decent against the... Like, they're not that bad as a unit, but I have to say that LaaaaN's way of thinking about this one is unconventional at minimum. One thing is sure, Villese will be surprised. So if you're playing for element of surprise, you will definitely have the advantage here. So, for those of you that don't know this, Janitor is a unique unit for Berbers. Every teammate of Berbers can make them. So if you play a team game, and you play with a Berbers teammate, then you can also make Janitors. And the Janitors are basically a mounted skirmisher unit. Now, these guys don't have Botkin right now, and neither do they have ballistics, but it's basically a skirmisher on a horse. But it is pretty good at picking off the pikeman. It's actually very, very good at picking off monks too. And Janitors, I swear, if LaaaaN wins this game with Janitors, that's gonna be one of the biggest PogChamps in the entire qualifiers. Now, the pikemen still do bonus damage against Janitors because they're mounted units, so that's one of the disadvantages, that Janitors don't hard counter pikemen as much as skirmishers do, especially if those Janitors are just moving slowly. Fun fact, Janitor is not a unit that was originally in the game. If you go back to the original AOC unit editor or scenario editor, you see that the Janitor doesn't have a model in it. It has a militia model that has a ranged attack, so the concept was there, but in the original AOC game files, the Janitor existed, but it never had a model and it was never used. It was actually added when the Berbers came in for HD as the expansion pack. So, Janitors slowly galloping around. Look at those majestic beasts. Now, if you look at them, they're actually pretty sturdy. 70 HP with bloodlines over here. They actually do counter the archers as well. I just don't know why LaaaaN is not going for cav archers, because Berber cav archers are also quite decent. It looks like Villese actually wants to go into Imperial here. He's sitting on 4 TCs, 92 villagers. Villager count is very, very similar to LaaaaN's one. LaaaaN sees the market, so he should understand that his opponent probably wants to balance his eco and buy himself up. There is going to be a castle coming up on the front from Villese, castle at the back for LaaaaN, and now he's probably going to start teching into what's going to be camel archers ultimately. So I guess the plan is that he wants to go camel archers, but he couldn't go for them immediately, so he had to make a couple of Janitors. Although, as I said, I still believe that cav archers would have been better as a decision from LaaaaN. Improvage on the way for both players really, really close to each other. As it looks like it's going to be just a hub and siege push here by our Japanese player. Now, I don't know if Japanese have siege ram. If they have Halberdier and Siege Ram, that's going to be very, very tough for Berbers to fight against. Berbers in general are awful against Siege Ram. That's the biggest weakness of Berbers here. Janitors getting cleaned up by the pikemen and Elite Skirm now. I feel like LaaaaN is a little bit having problems with his unit comp here. I don't think that he expected Japanese. He might have been expecting Britons or something like that, but it seems like he's having a bit of a trouble figuring out what you need to go for. So, oh, that's a beautiful bow-so timing, 31 minutes. LaaaaN apparently forgetting about that right now, and fletching on the way. We might see some ranges, so it looks like we're gonna have Arbalest. Now, if it's Arbalest, the Elite Skirm actually works nicely for Berbers. Berbers have, I think, fully upgraded Elite Skirm, so that is pretty nice overall for them. And now it's Camel Archers. But the thing is that Camel Archers have a serious production bottleneck over here, whereas Arbalest and Halberdier can just overrun you over here, so LaaaaN has to be careful about this one. Villese Stone was the right side, as we have seen base trades, we have seen Janitors, now we're seeing monks converting outposts. This series is definitely delivering in terms of like viewer entertainment value. And welcome to the club. Little outpost over here, and then the monk is instantly gonna get killed by the Janitors. Oh man. So soon towers in the middle could be a thing, and Japanese, surprise surprise, have very good towers, so they could actually start towering over here so that they make life a little harder for LaaaaN. As LaaaaN getting the Camel Archers in alongside the Elite Skirms, Bombard Cannon would be pretty important for him, so that means that he's bringing in the chemistry, because Japanese don't have Bombard Cannon. That could be a nice advantage over Japanese for the Berber player, but the production is what is a little bit concerning, I believe, for LaaaaN. He's gonna get massively outproduced in terms of units. If you look at the production buildings, 5 barracks, 2 ranges, castles, and there's gonna be more coming in soon. 2 more ranges are on the way. Whereas for LaaaaN, he's got 2 ranges and 1 castle to produce units at, and that's basically all. So LaaaaN is having a serious production bottleneck, and his university was also quite late, so he got chemistry, or he's getting chemistry to be precise, but he's not actually getting ballistics. He doesn't have it right now. He picks up a couple of villagers on the right side, but in this 35 minutes game, we had 3 villagers killed overall in this entire game. And as things stand, it starts to feel more and more like we're actually gonna go for a decider game over here. Samurai coming in. Now, because the Janitor is a unique unit, technically, Samurai should be able to deal bonus damage against it. Samurai actually dealing 16 per hit to Camel Archer as well. Obviously, Samurai should still die to Camel Archers here. Siege Trap is down, so no more Bombard Cannons for LaaaaN here. And as I said, production is what's going to be missing for him here. And that's going to be missing really badly. 116 villagers against 124, as we have the Trebs slowly melting the buildings. Block printing even for Villese, so he wants to actually convert Bombard Cannons as well. So he wants to convert Bombard Cannons and slowly take down the stable here as well. And he stonewalled the right side. And with that, Monastery is down. Once again, LaaaaN is trying to do the exact same thing that he did in the Arabia game. Just wait until he can pop one big army and destroy everything. However, you have to keep in mind that Japanese will be able to secure a lot of ground with or with these towers. With Yasama, there's Maghrebi camels coming in for LaaaaN. So he wants to actually get all the upgrades for those camels before he goes into an engagement, even the healing one. Although I don't think that he has Kasbah, which I think would be more important here for production. And the guard tower on the way for Villese. Here comes the big engagement as guard tower is just in. LaaaaN tries to dive in, pick off the halberdiers, but there's already a lot of elite skirms, trebs, and towers. And you don't need much here, because halberdier elite skirm tower with trebs is perfectly fine for Japanese, and Villese is playing this one really bad, or really well. Not so great for LaaaaN. So LaaaaN seems like he's gonna now try to tech switch into cavalry, but in this entire game I had a feeling that LaaaaN doesn't really know what you need to go for. From the janitors, then the camel archers, but not really a big commitment towards those. It kind of felt like he doesn't know what to do in the Civ matchup. There is Yasama for Villese, and after 3 games in a row won by LaaaaN, it seems like he's actually going to lose this game, because that kind of feels like it. I don't necessarily see his way back into this game very easily. Massive production limitation on him. He's got 3 castles, but he's gonna lose the ranges, and elite skirms from the Japanese would just eat the camel archers no matter what. So It's gonna be more guard towers. It's Elite Samurai. Elite Samurai, hello? Why? Why Elite Samurai for Villese? Like, it's not a horrible idea if you're up against skirmishers, by the way. I'm just noticing. It's good against skirmishers, but he shouldn't assume that his opponent is gonna go full skirm. There's no way that it's full skirm from the opponent. Elite Samurai eats skirmishers. But, the camel archers will destroy them. That's actually a nice castle spot over there for LaaaaN. LaaaaN could also make a trap here and start trapping this DC down to make it a little bit more annoying for his opponent. But the first castle is gonna be under fire in a matter of moments. So, Samurai getting mixed in here. I understand that they're good against a lot of units. I just feel like Elite Samurai is a bit of an over-investment into this one. If he just mixes a couple of Samurai to deal with the skirmishers, that's actually fine. But yeah, we had everything in this game. Outpost conversions, we had janitors, now Elite Samurais. It looks like LaaaaN will try to sneak a couple of stables out here on the right, but once again, there's defensive castle here on the left. I just don't see this one happening for LaaaaN. He's making Hussar and also Bombard Cannon are in the party. Elite Skirms somewhat struggling to deal with the Hussar over here as LaaaaN tries to keep that castle alive. There was a Bombard Cannon getting converted, but it's not going to be able to take down the other Bombard Cannon as LaaaaN runs out of stone. The first castle is most likely going down over here, buys a bit of a stone for himself, but consumes that stone so fast. Repairs on Vilese's traps are not necessarily coming in time, and one of the traps might actually go down over here pretty easily. The Samurai got absolutely wrecked by the camel archers. Don't tell me LaaaaN is holding this. No, he's not holding that castle, that's for sure. And I think that Villese will just start pushing forward even more so with Yasama keeps. He has Yasama, he has a Bracer, he doesn't have, I think, arrow slits, and more importantly, keep. That's a lot of light cap though. And the camel archers will be very good against the Samurai. And the cost efficiency is definitely on the side of LaaaaN over here now. So the Samurai are pretty tanky, but still, it's 5 pierce armor, so the camel archers actually do quite nice against them. It's not even elite. Trap being set up here by Villese to track that castle down, something that LaaaaN wasn't really prepared for. And still, I feel like, just look at the map layout and look at how Vilese's forces are set up. I feel like the only thing I see now for LaaaaN is this: if he can decide this fight, like, take either one decisive fight, as we will have apparently Arson even, there is keep. So he either has to take one decisive fight, or he has to be able to chop through the middle and like land 20 light cap into the opponent's eco. It looks like LaaaaN wants to launch a big counterattack on this side, but these storm walls are still here, so I'm not sure what he's gonna be able to accomplish with that. LaaaaN once again is playing kind of Scorched Earth tactics, something that he has done in the Arabia game. He has sort of done it as well in the Gold Rush game, and here comes the big fight. If this army is gone for LaaaaN, this is game over. I think it's gonna be an army gone because most of the cav archers are dying. Samurai will have to dive in, and the Samurai do a lot of damage to the camel archers, so you actually have to run away from this one. This seems game over. He does have Yasama, I saw the upgrade, so Yasama is definitely in on those towers. And there's gonna be soon nowhere to go for LaaaaN, who is still having 27 on gold, but he's soon going to run out of it. Like, yeah, the entire game I kind of felt like LaaaaN doesn't really know what to do here. So, and that seems to continue because he's just kind of trying his best, but it seems like Villese is just outplaying him in this entire game. LaaaaN tried to go for janitors, camel archers, but really, he wasn't really in a position, or he wasn't just able to get anything going in this game. And those Yasama towers with the traps, these I think now have, do they have Kataparuto? I don't think they do. Kataparuto is an expensive technology and oftentimes you don't invest into that, but see, elite skirms from Japanese here, and the towers will be able to pick off those light caps coming in. Light caps one by one aren't really going to be enough here, and the cost efficiency of these fights are much better. And yeah, we're looking like we're actually gonna go into game number 7 here. LaaaaN trying to buy some more stone to repair that castle, but the traps are still standing and that castle is probably gonna be gone in a moment. Indeed, it goes down as well, leaving LaaaaN with only one castle, and he's just gonna get overrun by trash here. It's full trash now for Villese, who wants into the Hidden Cup for main event. It's only one of these players that's gonna be playing in there. Both of them played in Hidden Cup 3. Only one of them will qualify for Hidden Cup 4. Villese is not ready to go down just yet. Now, LaaaaN is not completely dead, but I just don't see him being able to counterattack this one. Like, he's spamming light cav after light cav, camel archer after camel archer, but he is not in a position to push this at all. Look at this. He would have to get through all of this unless he's actually able to do like an onager cut into the opponent's eco. That seems like that's not gonna be the case, and I guess the idea is that he wants to launch like rams over here and then run in with light cav. That might save the day for him. And let's wait with this one, guys, because the thing is that Villese is pushing, but Villese is pushing very, very slowly. And maybe, just very, very maybe, it's less than 5% chance right now, I would say, for LaaaaN, is that he's somehow able to slow this push down enough to buy himself time for a couple of rams and like 20 light cap, but Villese knows this. Villese knows about this one, and when he sees the workshops and when he sees the stables, he's gonna know that that is coming. He's gonna be well prepared for it, add a couple more layers of walls. And now that there is only skirms coming, the Samurai will actually start paying for the price, because Samurai just eats skirmishers. Look at the KD rise for Villese. He has had a negative KD so far, but Samurai will eat the light cav. Samurai just absolutely tear apart skirmishers, and they also look really, really cool. And with that, we are apparently going to have game number 5 coming in here. It's 78 army against 28. Really, in the last 3 games, LaaaaN was way more convincing than Villese. However, this was completely the other way around in this one. In this game, LaaaaN kind of felt like he was sort of clueless on what to do, and Villese felt like he was feeling the blood in the water. So this was so weird. This was basically the direct opposite than what we have seen in the previous games, and that means that everything is gonna come down to one game. And we have talked about LaaaaN's inconsistent performance even within series. You have seen that he has had some inconsistency here. Previous games was much better than this one. We will see what type of form he's bringing in for the last one, because as I said, now it's Halberdiers coming in here, slowly knocking down those siege workshops. These are Japanese Halberdiers and Samurai attacking faster, and also have arson, so they melt these buildings really fast. Look at this. Just 3 Samurai and 2 Halberdiers destroying buildings over here, and I feel like Villese is closer and closer to victory over here, and we will have a game number 7 decider over here. Really, both of these players has had some amazing performances in this one, some weaker performances, and as things stand, I feel like either of these players would deserve a victory in this set. So we will see if Villese or LaaaaN will be able to secure the victory for themselves, but currently it seems like Villese will be able to grab game number 6, and the decider game will decide the outcome of this one. Both neutral gold mines just fell into the hands of Villese, which I think seals the deal on this one, because now his opponent is only going for Hussar and Skirmisher, and just Samurai alone. Samurai Treb's Towers will be able to just shred everything that LaaaaN has. And you see that the right side is collapsing. I'm not even sure what LaaaaN is hoping in anymore. He's got nowhere to go soon. Like, he was trying to launch this counterattack, but you can see that as the buildings are going down, this is just not going to happen. And Villese actually selling an awful lot of wood here. He's floating a lot of resources as well. And now the Samurai will just jump on those skirmishers. Eventually the Samurai will go down, but we will see how much or how many of these skirmishers they will just massacre. The light cavs aren't amazing against Samurai either. They will be cost efficient and they will be eventually cleaning them up. But there is always more Samurai coming in. LaaaaN is just trying to flood light cav here until eternity, but he would need to hold out for like 2 hours to be able to use this light cav. That being said, if he actually gets all this light cav into the opponent's eco, things could turn around, and that's something that we have to keep in mind. I think LaaaaN's only shot is an onager cut. If he somehow cuts into the opponent's eco, he could actually get about 30-40 light cav in there, and that would cripple Villase's eco. That's the only hope that LaaaaN has right now, really. He has 3 relics, but that is soon going to be just a distant memory, as that monastery could go down really, really easily. Tries to jump on the skirmishers. I see that he's defending, and I'm perfectly fine with that. The problem that I'm seeing is that he's just not pushing, and just defending in this game will not actually win you the game, because you see that you're slowly losing ground. Tile by tile, inch by inch, Villese is grinding you down, and as I said, defending is one thing. You have to be able to actually influence Vilese's eco, and that's not really happening. In fact, there's already Rams and Halberdiers knocking on the right side walls as well. I don't think that LaaaaN is going to be able to come back into this one. He's just not in a position to break out here. And with that, like, I have to give LaaaaN a credit here. He's really trying, but I just don't feel like this is going to be enough because he's unable to hit the opponent's eco, and Onagers coming in now for Villese, which might finish everything off here. Like, Onagers should be able to level all those skirmishers. Samurai, once again, will actually be pretty useful against those mass skirmishers, but more important, look at this. Samurai breaking in here, Ram coming in as well to take down PCs. We might even see some more Halberdiers coming out for LaaaaN, and I think that LaaaaN is too focused on this fight on the left to notice that this is happening over here. Villagers will jump out to kill the Ram, but I mean, Samurais will kill so many villagers. LaaaaN is still 190 population, 83 army, but 63 of those are skirms, and as I said, there will be onagers coming in here a matter of moments. It's not a matter of who, I think, it's a matter of when right now. Because LaaaaN is just unable to counterattack. He's just unable to do any damage to the opponent's eco, so Villese can just send wave after wave after wave, and it's gonna be never-ending, especially now with the onagers coming in. Onagers getting a good shot on those skirmishers should be more than enough to finish the deal. Here, now Samurai might even jump on the villagers. Wood income is gonna be a little bit concerning over time for LaaaaN here as he loses this surface. As onagers will try to get a shot out, lands a big one, and we might see another big one. Indeed, skirmishers slowly going down over here. 3 big shots over there. There is still 49 skirmishers on the field. LaaaaN is really trying this, but it is just going nowhere, as that final castle, if it goes down, there's going to be nothing that prevents the flood of units here. I could also see Japanese light cav here. Japanese light cav are missing the final armor upgrade, but other than that, it's actually a reasonable unit, and there's so many skirmishers that you could just actually really make a case for Japanese light cav as well. Everything that LaaaaN has was diverted to the left side, but he finally taps out in a game that was, I think, decided already 10 minutes ago. And as good as LaaaaN has been playing in the previous 3 games, this was a little bit weaker from him, and it seems like all is gonna come down to one single game. It's the tournament life of 2 players on the line. So with that, we're going back into the lobby, and we will go to the final home map of LaaaaN in this case, which is going to be Cross. This is an amazing set indeed, and it is not over just yet. I'm going to ask for 1 minute of break over here because, well, this has been 7 hours of casting. It doesn't feel like it was 7 hours, but I need 1 minute of a break here before we jump into the final game. All right, so back we are. And let's see if we have the game. Robo hasn't posted the recorded game just yet, but it's an even score. And we will be taking a look. And as I said, Cross and the civilizations will most likely be Huns versus... Oh my goodness. Are we going to see Goths or Byzantines? It's not impossible that LaaaaN is gonna pull the trigger on Goths, because the predictable pick here is Byzantines. And I would also think that Byzantines is a more likely scenario, but you should never underestimate the potential of Goths. In fact, LaaaaN in Deathmatch World Cup, I believe, played a set with Goths on Cross. It was an amazing game. Deathmatch World Cup 3, I believe. LaaaaN played Goths in there. And that was one of the crazier games. Game number 7 on the way without any word. And it all comes down to this one. As I wonder if this is a restart or this was a restart from the previous game. So we don't know that. It could have been, you know, this is... okay, whatever. Don't actually look at this, to be honest. From my experience, this is basically, could be from any game that we casted before, sort of capture each bug. This isn't actually a clue to viewers over here. And what I wanted to point out is that we are going to have Villese playing as the predictable Huns in blue, and the predictable Byzantines is going to be the pick here for LaaaaN. I overall like Huns a lot more over here. Villese opened with 2 wins. Then LaaaaN actually won 3 in a row to almost reverse sweep Villese. Villese stopped the bleeding on Hideout, and now it's an even score. And it is as simple as it gets. The winner of this game is in the Hidden Cup 4 main event, which means we are also having at least $1,500 prize pool for that player. Whereas on the other side, whoever loses here will only get just $200. And a congratulations for participating in Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. I think, based on the series that we have been having over here, I feel like either of these players would very well deserve getting into the main event, but it can only be one. You can really say there can only be one. So, with that, Villese is actually pushing the deer over here. He might actually do a double deer push. I wonder if that's gonna be successful. Nope, he's not going to attempt a double deer push. He will just push in one and go for this one later on. So the 2 players are very, very close to each other, which actually helps Byzantines here a little bit. But you also have to consider that the gold and the stone are very, very close to Vilese's side here from LaaaaN. So these gold and stone mines aren't necessarily great. And we will see which pawn the players are going for, because theoretically it is possible that they will both try to go for left-hand side pawn. LaaaaN is actually going for the northern one. And Villese is gonna be playing with, I think, probably the southern one himself. Neither of them are aware of the close vicinity of the opponent. So that's gonna be sort of a pleasant / unpleasant surprise, depending on who you are. So, with that, first dock is going to be coming in here for LaaaaN. The good thing for LaaaaN with this pawn is that this is so far away from Villese that it's going to take a lot of time until Villese is able to get a Voyager up here to potentially push this one. And Villese is also going for the safer pawn, so it's going to be north versus south at the end of the day, but the 2 players, as I said, are very, very close to each other. And you see that Villese is moving out with his scout in this direction. He's looking for his opponent somewhere around over here, but that's not going to be the case. Indian Condor, thank you so much for the bits, by the way. I appreciate it. All the bits that have been sent before as well. So, that's already 3 deer pushed in, or at least a minimum of 2 from LaaaaN. As on the other side, we will have the second board coming in for Villese. He brought in 2. What 2? This is 1. This is just 1 deer that has been pushed in. I'm also getting exhausted, so I apologize for being an absolute potato at casting. It seems like my brain activity wasn't satisfactory today for a whole day casting. So I have pretty much been exhausted even after like the second game of this series, and it goes into 7 games. It has been a 7-hour stream today, so really that's my excuse. So dock is up for both players. Fishing ships are coming out over here, and eventually you see that Villese will just find his opponent here. He's looking everywhere, but he can't find him. He just can't find him. While this is happening, I think LaaaaaaN is sort of struggling with the same problem as well, that he just doesn't know where the opponent is at. He's going to be looking here, so both of these players are sort of clueless about the opponent. Look at this. Neither of them know where the other guy is. When the players spawn so close to each other, oftentimes they just don't believe that they are there. Now Villese will see that there is a dock here, so he should know that the opponent is either here or here. You already scouted this side and he wasn't here, which means that it has to be somewhere around over here. So I think Villese now knows. Soon LaaaaN is gonna know as well. It's the same thing. Now, the thing is that this actually is making the sneaky docks nearly impossible for the players, because by the time that will actually happen, your opponent is gonna be well deep into Feudal Age. So this actually kind of nerfs the Byzantines here, because one of the reasons why you pick Byzantines here is because your fire galleys are much stronger. Other than that, it looks like LaaaaN is gonna be doing a bit of a walling over here, and the first barracks on the way for Villese for what is going to be a scouts build from him. As I said, I massively prefer Huns over Byzantines on this map. Byzantines can be useful if you actually are capable of fighting on water, or you go for like a spear and skirm type of play, but I feel like the scouts play of Huns and then into a cav archer is just something that I love a lot better than Byzantines. That being said, the two players are so close to each other that the slower moving Byzantine army could still be pretty useful. There is a hole over there. I wonder if Villese is going to show that to the opponent. LaaaaN realizes, and he's just going to plug that hole in. Tries to land the first hit on the opponent and will be unsuccessful with that. LaaaaN starting to wall himself off over here. He's going to have a gold mine at the back, which means that he's actually making... or at least he's planning to go for fire galleys. He's going to try and sneak a villager out here, as he might be expecting his opponent to go for that pond as well. But reality is that Villese is playing sneakier. That's actually so good for Villese for multiple reasons. He intercepts this villager, so that means that LaaaaN is not going to be able to get a dock up here immediately. But he's going for the smart dock. He probably knows that, hey, this dock is, or this pond is in between LaaaaN and me, which means that I'm gonna go for a faraway pond because it's unlikely that my opponent is actually going there. Now that's not actually true. LaaaaN is going to play with that. That's going to be a scout and skirm play, however, from Villese, whereas there's only defensive spearman from LaaaaN. And as I said, I feel like Byzantine is an okay civ on this map, but Huns are just much better. We're gonna have an archer range coming in just now. LaaaaN is slowly walling up his base, but there is already skirms or archers on the way for Villese, and LaaaaN needs to wall his base up really fast over here. Dock coming up on the second pond for Villese right now. LaaaaN is going to get a dock up there as well if he wants to, and that's going to be the case. Walls are on the way too for him, but there's already archers coming in, whereas the range is just finishing. We'll see if LaaaaN just plays for like a skirmisher spearman type of a defense and tries to go for pawn control. But as I said, I massively favor Huns over Byzantines. The only win condition I see for Byzantines in this one is if they're able to either secure all lakes as... Oh my goodness, LaaaaN! LaaaaN is not paying attention! Disaster! And I told you that LaaaaN on his best days plays like a top 10 player. But on his worst days, he plays like an outside the top 20. He's lucky that that goes up. If that dog goes denied, that might have been the end of the story. Needless to say is the fact that Villese knows about that dock and he's gonna make fire guys immediately. LaaaaN doesn't know that the dock is over there, so he's gonna get caught off guard. LaaaaN is -2 villagers. That being said, he still has a 3 villagers lead because his fishing eco on his own pond is actually amazing. So 6 fishing ships only for Villese over here. LaaaaN has 10, so he's still leading in terms of villager count. But he's gonna be on 1 pond for a long time. And look at this perception as well from Villese. He's got 1 spearman patrolling in here to try and deny the dock once again. You will have to try and quick wall, but this is something that Villese sees, and he's gonna send the scouts all the way around. Oh my goodness. Scouts will try to bash their way through the walls here, and the thing is that there is no repair voyager close by, so they could actually get through potentially. Those pulse sites have more HP though, because they are from... Oh my goodness, LaaaaaaN! He's trying everything to quick wall that will in, and the Villese is everywhere. Villese is everywhere, and the thing is that I think it might be nerves as well for LaaaaaaN, but I think that Villese starts to see the blood in the water, and it would be a heartbreaking defeat for LaaaaaaN if he actually exited a tournament like this. He was leading 3-2, however now everything seems to be in the hands of Villese. Villese is going to start pushing up this pond over here. Villese is going to have a safe pond at the back. Villese is able to deny this one, so it is basically 1.5 pond versus just 1 pond over here. Unit composition wise, Huns have a massive advantage over here, especially the Castle Age Cav Archers, which is going to be pretty devastating against the Byzantine player. And if you look at the resources, you're starting to see why this could be really problematic over here for LaaaaaaN as he scrambles to make the quick walls. But there is a saying in general sports, like, great players do their best when it matters the most. And I feel like that is starting to show here for Villese. He was down by 2 games, but he probably brought in his 2 cleanest performances to these games. And now he's on the way to Castle Age. That's going to be early crossbowmen, followed up by Cav Archers. And the mobility of the Cav Archers, I fear that it is going to tear apart LaaaaaaN. LaaaaaaN actually goes for his own crossbows. If he's active and aggressive, he might actually force Villese to defend. That's his only hope right now. I think that if you're LaaaaaaN here, you stonewall. You stonewall yourself off, because the Cav Archers will get through pulse sites so easily. You have to make sure that your opponent doesn't get through your walls. It's either house walls behind or stone walls, but pulse side walls alone won't be enough, that's for sure. And on this spawn, Villese is securing water control. Dock coming up here as well for Villese. It seems like it's going to be 3 versus 1 pawn. And because LaaaaaaN was so heavy on the fishing eco on his own pond, he will soon have to start dropping fish traps, which is something that he can't really afford right now. His woodline at the back is still safe, as he's going for a stable. We'll probably try to mix in a couple of knights or camos. But fire galleys pop out over here. Remember the fact that this voyager was actually killed here, as that's a very nice demo for LaaaaaaN. So the voyager that was killed here would have been a repair voyager, and that's a massive difference. Villese has a repair voyager here, LaaaaaaN does not. So that voyager kill is actually much more impactful than just simply killing a simple Will here. And you see that the repair voyager is actually coming in clutch here, even though now that's gonna be 2 more fire galleys down here from LaaaaaaN, or from Villese. So LaaaaaaN is holding this one for now, goes for scarebarding, crossbows in for both players soon. 14 versus 10 archers, 45 eco for both. It's not over yet for LaaaaaaN, and I feel like the win condition for him is gonna be if he can actually beat his opponent to Imperial and go for Arblasts. Because that would be something that Hans could struggle against really badly. Crossbow is in a matter of moments, but LaaaaaaN is gonna be forced to use only 1 wood line over here, so he's kind of confined into his own base. Whereas his opponent has all the map control in the world. That's a fast ballistics for Villese, and Villese is actually playing really standard here. Okay, there is the 2 ranges. I was missing out on those. Fast ballistics, but after ballistics he will actually start transitioning to Cav Archers over here. And soon LaaaaaaN is gonna have to take an engagement here. He's got no defense upgrades on those archers. Villese has those as well, and I feel like this fight is gonna be even, or relatively even. The problem is that the follow-up isn't going to be there for LaaaaaaN. This is all that LaaaaaaN has, and he's making a couple of camos, but camos will just be picked off by the crossbows here relatively easily. And LaaaaaaN already has a lot of the idle time on him, loses this dock over here. His fishing eco is about to run out of food, which means that suddenly he's gonna be down to basically 8 voyagers gathering food from farms. And as I said, after ballistics, I am fairly certain that we are going to see Villese tech switching into Cav Archer. The mobility of the Cav Archers might be able to finish off LaaaaaaN here. And LaaaaaaN, after a 2-0 start against him, it seemed like he's actually going to be able to launch a counterattack and comeback in this one, but now we're closer and closer to Villese edging out this victory in what was another nail-biter. In the previous round, Villese actually played against Classic Pro in what was one of the best, if not the best series so far in the qualifiers. I mentioned at the beginning of this series that the Villese vs Classic Pro series is definitely something that's worth rewatching, but it seems like Vilese's path into the Hidden Cup main event is just carved out with nail-biting series. Every single series, especially this one and the previous one, was just a nail-biter. And like, the thing is that Villese will get cleaned up here. That's not a question. The question is, what is his opponent going to do when the Cav Archers show up? And they will show up. You already see the Cav Archers slowly moving in over here. Crossbows have been cleaned up, but now it's 57 villagers compared to 50. And as I said, LaaaaN is gonna have some wood issues, and he will not be able to keep rebuilding his, or just not keep rebuilding, but just add fish traps here. That's gonna be the problematic part for him. Bloodlines on the way for Villese as well. So the tech switch into Cav Archer is actually going to start showing free TCs for LaaaaN, but Villese will also be playing on free TCs. He's gonna have triple range Cav Archers, and then the mobility advantage is going to be extremely hard to fight against for Byzantines. Byzantines is definitely one of the slower armies in the game, so the Hunnic mobility here could start showing off. And honestly, I feel like the last two games, Villese has been having the civilization advantage overall, but that might actually come down to the drafting skills of the two players. Because in some of these games, LaaaaN actually had the civ advantage. So for example, the Mongols versus Persians on the Bay game, massive advantage for LaaaaN over there. He had the disadvantage in some instances. So for example, the Islands game, where I think he was Italians and Villese was Portuguese, but still won that. So the civ advantage was back and forth in this one, but in the last two games I feel like Villese is having the civ advantage, which, as I said, could come down to his drafting skills over here in terms of civilizations. And we will have the Cav Archers breaking in here. I don't think that they have Thumbring, but they do have Ballistics. And now you're attacking into Elite Skirm. If the two players would be on the opposing side of the land, I would say that that is already a very, very bad sign. Here, how close they are, it might actually still work out for LaaaaN, because they're so close that he could actually launch a counterattack with Elite Skirms. But we're talking about one range. One range, one barracks, one stable. And I'm starting to feel very similar to what we had in the Castle Age of the Arabia game, if you remember. It was a long time ago, probably something like 3.5 hours ago. That LaaaaN didn't really have like one certain type of a unit. He actually tried to go for multiple ones, but never really had good numbers of any. And with that, that's actually a decent micro over there from Villese. Picks off the monks, and I feel like the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm saying that we are soon going to see the Finn inside Hidden Cup for main event in what, as I said, was another nail-biter, and Villese will have to think about this. Villese will have to think about this if he gets into the main event, as he's getting close to clicking into Imperial. There's one scout desperately counterattacking, but in this game, LaaaaN killed one villager and Villese killed 12. And that's gonna be even more. LaaaaN apparently wants a castle for himself, but Villese is actually close to that as well. Villese will probably just castle drop that gold mine at this rate. And castle drop it over here and go into Imperial, and that's gonna be the end of the story for LaaaaN. LaaaaN put up a huge fight, so you see that on his best days, LaaaaN is a very, very dangerous player. Plays super clean. He's a smart player too, but sometimes things just don't go his way. Consistency is what he has to improve upon to become an even better player. And it really seems like Villese is actually gonna go into Hidden Cup 4. And I think that he also has to think about this though, because he narrowly escaped. That's how I opened this entire set 3 hours ago. That both of these players narrowly escaped the previous opponent. In the previous set, LaaaaN was up 2-0 against Brew. Brew came back to 2-2, and then LaaaaN actually won the final Gold Rush game. In this game, or in this set, LaaaaN once again made it very, very close. Villese had a very close series against Classic Pro, one of the best series of the tournament so far. And once again, this was very, very close for him, so he really has to think over that, okay, I've been winning, but these were awfully close series for Villese, and that's something that he has to keep in mind. And there is going to be a lot of players inside the main event that could be threatening to Villese, so he needs to clean some of his gameplay up, I think. For example, Indians on the slopes map is still something I dislike. The Islands game wasn't really great from Villese. He played overall really well, but he needs to do some polishing on his gameplay. Otherwise, stronger opposition might actually catch him off guard, because he played two very, very close series in the qualifiers, and I think he deserves to be in there based on the performance that he has put up. Especially the last two games were very, very decisive in his favor. But he also has to consider that anyone else, either LaaaaN or Classic Pro in the previous round, could have been there at the end instead of Villese if some small things go differently. Things went in a way that Villese wanted them to go for him, and that yields a victory, I believe, for Villese. Although LaaaaN obviously isn't going to tap out very early here, but I feel like soon the mobility of the Cav Archers, the Trebs, is going to be something that is going to be impossible for LaaaaN to fight against. He's going to go up into Imperial right now, tries to get a castle up here, but he's just confined into his own base right now. He's going for camos. It's a lot of Scorpions, but Trebs will be coming out for Villese. 106 Vultures against 96 free pawns against just one. And really, I think the problem that Villese will be, that LaaaaN is going to be facing, is that he won't be able to stop this push. I don't think that he has 2.5 minutes until Imperial. This is the Imp TC, so that should be no Imp denied, but you can see that Villese is already positioning castles all across the map so that he's going to have like an 80% map control. If there is no overchop over here, that's actually like legit 80%, because this is walled off, this one is a solid wood line, and this is protected by a castle. So really, the only way that LaaaaN breaks out of his base is over here on this side, and that's something that Villese wants to prevent. Still 1.5 minutes away from Imperial is LaaaaN. I think Villese is setting up this trap to take this TC down. This one is taking this TC down. He knows that his opponent probably wants to Imp here, and he's trying to find the Imp TC. The one at the back is the Imp TC, and that's why you're using your back TC as the Imperial Age TC, because in case you get pushed, you won't want to lose that TC over there. And really, even if it's Imperial Age from LaaaaN, he's sitting on 8 camos, 5 Scorpions, and 3 Elite Skirms. And soon his eco is going to be breached, so Cav Archers can just run in and kill everything. I think we're moments away from Villese sort of making a double comeback, so to say, here. He was leading, and then he was losing, and then ends up winning the series. And he's going to be the one in the main event of Hidden Cup. Credits to LaaaaN though, because he has played amazing in some of the games, but I feel like that's the GG sign here. LaaaaN is up to Imperial, but he's gonna have nowhere to go. He's cornered within his own base, and he's trying to get Bracer chemistry, but as you see, there is nowhere to go. Villese knows about this, and Villese also has the mobility, cleans up all the camos. It is 40 arm against 26, but that 26 in reality is just a couple of elite skirms, and Villese could make Tarkans, Villese could make Knights if he wants to. I feel like Villese could make anything right now and still win the game. Just run the Cav Archers in here, and LaaaaN is done. There is gonna be chainmail or chainbarding. LaaaaN taps out, and with that, Villese surviving another nail biter, and really, we have to give credit to LaaaaN here for playing really well, and you also have to point out that Villese wins his second super close series. Previously against Classic Pro, here against LaaaaN, and it's one thing that it's always very close. That's something that Villese has to think about, and the different thing to think about though is that, as I said, great players play their best when it matters the most, and we have seen that from Villese. When it mattered the most, when he was down by 1 game and it was match point for LaaaaN, he actually delivered 2 of his cleanest games here. This was surgical precision, very few mistakes from Villese here. 35 Voyager kills to 2. Everything went Villese's way here. And Villese ends up being in Hidden Cup for qualifiers. And honestly, I'm impressed by LaaaaN's performance. As I said, if he can actually be a consistent player, he's gonna be a very dangerous one. Like, he has top 10 potential, and that's something that I've seen already in Hidden Cup 3 main event, where he made one of the most competitive series against Hera. Back then we didn't know it was LaaaaN, but many people didn't even think that it's LaaaaN because it was so surprising. He played really well. LaaaaN's playstyle reminds me a lot to Hera's playstyle, and remember the Bay game where LaaaaN actually had his high ping. We don't know how much he was influencing, or how much he was influenced by potentially a bad internet. So that's also something that that needs to be considered. And well, we'll see these two players in two pools as well after Hidden Cup. Villese will be playing with Max in two pools for Team Suomi, and LaaaaN is actually an interesting person. I just want to point that out. LaaaaN will team up with Heart for two pools too, so that's gonna be interesting to take a look at. I'm really curious what he can do with Heart. Both of these guys seem to be in good shape. So with that, Villese gets into the main event of Hidden Cup 4, and LaaaaN, I think this is still something that he's going to look at happily, even though he obviously wants to get into the main event, because his performance here was definitely amazing. Nearly mounted a comeback, but Villese ends up victorious.